All right, all right. We did it, everybody. We did it. What's up? What's up? So good to see everybody in here. I do apologize for the delay, and I won't belabor the intro too much because I know you've all been waiting patiently. But as always, please let me know how you're doing in the chat and let me know if anything on the audio sounds out of line. We are here. We have been anticipating this moment for so long, and it was a fantastic week we had this week. You can see Nick in the chat. Says, nice to meet you. Yo, nice to meet you, bro. Is that Nick from Trek? If so, great to meet you. And if it was another Nick, I know I actually did meet a few Nicks at PDX this week, but very nice to meet you either way. And guys, we had PDX this week. We were out of town all week. And as we got back, what happened was as we were on the road, we were trying to maximize our battery power on our laptop here. And so I tweaked a bunch of settings. And then when I got back and I started getting all up and running, I realized like a bunch of stuff was still in low power mode, low graphics card mode, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter what happened. The point is that we were doing a lot of traveling, meeting a lot of new people, spreading the word of 3D CAD speed modeling at PDX. We actually had a booth set up and we had the CAD vs. CAD tournament highlights on video in the booth. So all these people were coming by and they were learning more about the world of 3D CAD speed modeling, gamification, competitions, and this amazing community that we've all built together. And so it was awesome. It was great to spread the word. And we're probably going to see some new people here in the chat today. And with that, let's get into it here. Guys, we not only have a fantastic Final Four coming up in today's battles, but we also have a fantastic co-commentator. So let me introduce none other than Phil Brown, Fusion Phil. Welcome, Phil, to the live stream. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I am doing great. Super pumped to be here once again and hoping to see a clean sweep today out of the Fusion contestants.
Well, we definitely have some whiz kids here in Fusion using Fusion today. So let's get a quick audio check from you. Let's just hear a little bit about you. I know that, well, you can tell us, I know that you run one of the best Fusion resellers in the world, JitCAD Cam, and also have one of the best Fusion YouTube channels out there. So maybe you could just start out by talking a little bit about your company, and then maybe you could tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, no problem. So as you guys know, my go-to handle right now is Fusion Phil. I've been using Autodesk products for I don't know, the last 6 or 8 years. With that, throughout my career, I went from being in a machine shop to being at Autodesk to now owning my own reseller slash partner of Autodesk. And exactly that, man. We're here to support anybody and everybody when it comes down to their needs with Autodesk products, as well as anything outside of that. We have a lot of expertise in other things.
And you're a machinist as well, is that correct?
I am. So it's always fun that I get to host these CAD modeling competitions and point out how terrible some of these models are for manufacturing.
Well, I mean, having that insight is so valuable, you know, not only for you to have, but for you to, especially for you to have as an instructor, as a trusted advisor to your customers, because you're able to help them really cut down manufacturing costs just by avoiding unnecessary issues that can come up for people who maybe have a little bit less knowledge about the manufacturing process. It's really one of my favorite things about watching your channel is when you kind of go from just talking about the CAD to talking about the actual manufacturing and the machining. It's so insightful. It's so valuable. So guys, if you haven't seen Phil's channel before, be sure to check that out. How often do you live stream?
So currently we're set up right now. We're doing on average 2 a week. So we do what's called a workflow Wednesday, which dives into interesting workflows. Again, gets knowledge out there. We've done some stuff with EDM machines or a lot of the AI tool pathing that's starting to hit. And then every Friday, we try our best to do our free support Friday, which has turned into kind of a stump the chump lately.
Nice.
People submit problems and issues.
Well, that is awesome, man. And so how do they go about submitting those issues? Do they just email them to you, or what are they doing? Just typing it into the chat?
Yeah, so between chat, people are welcome to ask questions. We also have multiple email addresses for putting in support tickets, the things we might not be able to get to during our live. But yeah, basically what we tell everybody and anybody is we're happy to help as much as we can when we can. Obviously, if you're not one of our customers, we would like you to be one of our customers, but we're here to do anything we can to make your life much better. I see a few of my customers are out there right now, like Tim. Tim's out there. Bogdan, definitely Rambros has showed up a few times. And I got a question out there is what MOS was I? I was a 2161 in the Marine Corps. I was a machinist by trade.
Wow, that is awesome, man. I love seeing all the chat. I love everybody coming in and supporting Phil and saying hello, and just whether they're fans or customers or former students. It's so awesome. We love our chat out there, and it's great to see you guys in here. Thank you for the support. And guys, let's keep moving on here with today's presentation. Phil, welcome to the channel. If you can, I tend to get like really excited and I talk pretty loud. So if there's anything you can do on your end about boosting your volume at all, go for it. It's welcome. I don't want to blow you out of the water here. And guys, as the live stream goes on, if I'm talking too loud, if I'm too much louder than Phil, just let me know and we'll make sure that we get all those levels correct as the live stream.
Is that better?
proceeds.
You guys hear me a little better?
Oh yeah, that was a boost.
There we go. You need more or less? Because I get amped up too. And
I
don't
get
know,
so
man.
amped up. Yeah. Okay. I think we're pretty even right now. So PC Arduino just said better. So yep. All right. Awesome. So guys, don't forget, hit the like button. And share and reshare and sign up for a free account at tootalltoby.com. These are all things you can do to support the channel, support the tournaments, keep these tournaments rolling forward. We really appreciate all the support that we get from all of our customers, from all of our live stream viewers. So thank you guys so much for that. And of course, the super chat is open, and if you have the financial means and you can do super chat, we really appreciate it. That goes a long way towards helping keep these tournaments rolling forward. And you can visit us at tootalltoby.com. You can sign up for what's called a premium account at tootalltoby.com. And so what that'll do is it'll allow you to not only access the entire library, but it also just gives you a different path to support what we're doing here at Too Tall Toby, if you so desire, and of course, if you have the means. So thank you so much to all of our supporters. Let's get into it here, Phil. It's been a crazy month and a half here of tournaments, and we are now winding down. We started this whole shindig 2 months ago, and now we are moving into our final four. And so the way things got started was back in this upper left bracket. We had Jacob on SolidWorks versus Mr. Alex, and it was Mr. Alex who won. We had Max using Fusion against Gray using SolidWorks, and Max who won. And so then we saw Max versus Mr. Alex, and it was Max who prevailed, pushing him into the final four. In our second bracket over here, we started out with a little Compass 3D versus SolidWorks and Fusion versus Onshape. It was Neil Z who won that Fusion match, and he went up against the winner of the first match, Dom, and then it was Neil Z versus Dom, and it was Neil Z who took that one down. And if I remember correctly, you were doing co-commentary on that one.
I think I did. I think I jumped in halfway through, if I remember correctly.
Man, Neil Z is quite the wizard in Fusion, so it's really fun to see him battling and see how he kind of figures out these challenges. Can't wait to see his match today. And then down in the lower left bracket, we had Atse versus Mr. Cho. We had Sebastian versus Het Patel. And it was Sebastian, our #1 seed, who moved on in that match. But he had to face his toughest competitor yet in Atse. And when they battled, it was Atse, the #9 seed, who upset the #1 seed and moved into our final four. And we're going to see Atse battling today in these final four battles. It's going to be SolidWorks versus Fusion and SolidWorks versus Fusion. So in our final bracket here, we started out with Matab, who actually won a tournament earlier this summer, going against Omri Klein, and Matab won that match. And then we saw Ricardo Jean going up against Will G, and it was Ricardo who won that match. So we got to see tournament winner versus tournament winner. And once again, it was Ricardo who won that match, moving on to the final four, leaving us with this final four: Fusion versus SolidWorks, Fusion versus SolidWorks, and that is what we are going to be seeing today. And shout out to Boone Grant coming in with the very first super chat of the live stream. Thank you so much, Boone Grant. Welcome to the channel. And thanks so much for the support. It really goes a long way towards helping us. Thank you, my friend. And so, Bogdan in the chat says, just like last year. Yeah, we did have a very similar setup last year. SolidWorks versus Fusion, SolidWorks versus Fusion. Of course, last year it was Rambro's Workshop, Fusion user extraordinaire, who won the entire thing. He's our still currently reigning world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, Rambro's Workshop. Shout out to Rambro's, regular in the Too Tall Toby community. Guys, of course, all these guys are trying to get on what we call the Wall of Champions over at tootalltoby.com. When you get on the Wall of Champions, that's when you really get to flex. You really get to show off how good you are. And the Wall of Champions here features winners from a variety of CAD systems: Inventor, SolidWorks, Onshape, Fusion, and who knows who the next winner is going to be. But they're all trying to get onto that Wall of Champions. And of course, we couldn't have any of these tournaments without the support from our fantastic community and also without the support from our fantastic sponsors. And we've got some great sponsors during this tournament. I just want to take a moment and give them a shout out and remind all of you that if you ever have the opportunity to use their services, be sure to do so. And of course, if you ever have the opportunity to see them on social media, you can say, hey, thanks so much for sponsoring the Too Tall Toby tournament. It really means a lot to us out here in the community. It's a lot of fun to watch, and we definitely could not do it without their support. So our first sponsor, a newer sponsor, Byte Systems, bluebyte.biz, and this is a team that works on creating smarter tools for better engineering. And the way that they do that is that they are an industry leader in SolidWorks and PDM customization, ERP and PLM integration, and data migration. And what this means is that if you ever run into a situation where you need to create some custom APIs, some custom macros for your SolidWorks or your PDM setup, this is the team to talk to, bluebyte.biz. But beyond that, they actually offer training for all of you. You could learn how to write your own APIs for SolidWorks. So if you've ever got a repetitive task and you want to learn how to do it, this could be the team that you could reach out to and actually take some training. And since you're watching this tournament, you actually get a discount. That API bundle that's listed there, Vicky's going to drop it in the chat as well. You can get it for 30% off with code TooTallToby. So huge shout out to the team over at bluebyte.biz. And thank you so much for continuing to sponsor this tournament. Guys, if you see them on LinkedIn, if you see Aman on LinkedIn, be sure to give them a shout out and say thanks for sponsoring the tournament. And another tournament sponsor that we've got here is Xometry. So Xometry is a newer sponsor that we picked up for this tournament, and we got to give them a huge shout out. And what Xometry does is manufacturing on demand. This means that you've got a very simple, fast way to create custom physical parts. And so if you ever come up with ideas in your 3D CAD system and you want to turn those ideas into real parts, but maybe you're not ready to actually go completely to manufacturing, you can reach out to Xometry. They've got a wide range of manufacturing processes, including 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication. Big B from AZ in the chat says, Zom is the bomb. Yo, shout out to Big B from AZ. And that is the truth. Xometry can really help you. And they not only create these different manufacturing processes, but they also use the highest quality materials out there. Aluminum 6061, stainless 304, ABS nylon 12, and more. So whether you need a single part, a single prototype, or if you need multi-part runs, Xometry has you covered. And not only do they have you covered, but they too are offering a fantastic discount here, 20% off your first order with code TOBY20. And so if you visit Xometry, you can definitely get a nice deal on your first order. But of course, if you ever happen to see them out in the world of social media, be sure to give them a shout out. Be sure to say, hey, thanks so much for sponsoring the tournament. We love these tournaments, and we really couldn't do them without great sponsors like Xometry. Looking forward to continuing to work with Xometry in the future. And we've got a brand new sponsor for this tournament, CADOp.io. This one is really near and dear to my heart because CADOp.io is an app that was developed by somebody from the Too Tall Toby community. And what this app does is it helps you to cut documentation time by up to 90%. And the way that CADOp.io is able to do that is because it is a modern cloud-first platform for CAD documentation. Basically, what you get with CADOp.io is you can take a step file, and from that step file, you can generate a clean, professional collection of documentation, bills of materials, technical specifications, cost breakdowns. And you can do all this from a mobile-friendly device. It's really mobile forward. It's all handled in a web browser. You can actually visit CADOp.io and you can see a preview of what you're going to end up getting. But basically, all the stakeholders on your team are going to have immediate access to everything that they need to make the next decision in the process. And that's where you can really cut down on your manufacturing time and your time to market. So if you haven't seen them before, be sure to visit CADOp.io. You can actually sign up for early access at beta.cadop.io, or you could visit CADOp.io and kind of see a little sneak peek, a little preview of what the app looks like right on the homepage, or you could do both. Sign up for the beta and take a look at that sneak peek. So huge shout out to CADOp.io. Again, developed by somebody in the community, none other than our #1 seed, Sebastian, who is an absolute wizard in the world of 3D CAD and has done a fantastic job with that app as well. And our fourth sponsor for this tournament is none other than Solidbox, mysolidbox.com. This is a fantastic group of people who have put together a company that develops professional CAD workstations for professional CAD users. You know, nothing is more frustrating than for me to go out and purchase a $2,000 or $3,000 computer and get it onto my desk and realize that, you know, it doesn't have enough memory, or the memory is not configured correctly for SolidWorks. You know, you open up a large assembly in SolidWorks, and the very first thing that happens after you get this brand new computer is it says, you've run into an error. You don't have enough memory. SolidWorks has run out of resources. It's no fun. Well, the team at Solidbox aims to alleviate that frustration by putting together professional CAD workstations for professional CAD users. And the way that they do that is they provide custom builds of servers, desktops, and laptops for SolidWorks users. They go through and they strip out all the bloatware. They actually give you a customized build of Windows. And they go through and they toggle different tweaks within the BIOS so that you are sure that you're using the correct settings so that you get the optimal performance from your nice, expensive hardware. Excuse me again. Man, guys, I'm like choking as I'm doing these. So excited about talking about SolidBox. Guys, the team at SolidBox features a skilled and experienced support team of hardware experts. And really, probably the number one testimonial is that when people become customers of SolidBox, they become customers for life. So be sure to check them out, SolidBox. And like I said a moment ago, if you happen to see any of our sponsors online on social media, be sure to give them a shout out. Let them know that you really appreciate their sponsorship, and maybe take advantage of some of their services and some of these great discounts that we have here in this tournament. Finally, the guys are not only competing for bragging rights and to land on the wall of fame, they're competing for prizes. And we got to give a huge shout out to our prize sponsor, none other than Prusa Research by Joseph Prusa. Prusa3D.com. This is a company that produces fantastic 3D printers, and they have generously put up some prizes for our runners. They said, we want to know who the fastest CAD speed modelers are in the world. We're going to put up some prizes to find out. And so Prusa Mini Plus is going to be going to our 3rd and 4th place winners. It's a big printer in a compact body. The Prusa MK4S is the flagship 3D printing workhorse from Prusa. And of course, our champion is going to win the Prusa Core 1, the fully enclosed Core XY 3D printer. Guys, if you're not familiar with Prusa, they make super, super easy to use 3D printers. They're super reliable. I've got one right up there on the shelf. I run it all the time, and then I'll stop running it for a month or two, and I'll go back to running it, and it's just like I pick up right where I left off. They're super reliable, super easy to use, fantastic community, lots of parts that you can get, lots of people that are coming up with third-party devices and software to help them run even more efficiently. And so it's great to have a company that's got reliable hardware to begin with, but it's even better when they've got an amazing community to really take it to the next level. Check them out, Prusa3D.com, and thank you to Prusa for putting up those prizes. And guys, congratulations to our Final Four for getting to the Final Four, which means everybody who's running today has already won a 3D printer. So very exciting stuff. And Factionrous Grim says, has anyone competed in this using AutoCAD? So certainly we've got Fusion, which is an Autodesk product, but we're really trying to have our runners calculate the mass of the model based on material density. So you kind of need a 3D CAD system to do that. So AutoCAD traditionally is 2D, and it wouldn't really be able to calculate the results. Although, honestly, you can use whatever you want. One of our runners, Aaron C., he does some of the challenges using a calculator. So you can use whatever you want, right? He's really good at math, so that's how he's able to do that. Guys, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to share and reshare, and let's get into it here with our first matches. That's it for housekeeping. Phil, you good with housekeeping?
I'm good with the housekeeping. Let's get into this.
Yeah, let's get into it. We're all excited about this, and let's get into it here. The way that these matches work is that we take 2 runners from around the world, we pit them against one another, and we reveal to them a 2D drawing. And we say, 3, 2, 1, go. And then they are going to try and turn that 2D drawing into a 3D model, and they're going to try to calculate the mass and enter that mass directly into the YouTube chat. Now, the rules for this tournament are a little different for the runners compared to the audience. For the runners, the rules are that this is a best of 3 battles, meaning that the first person who's able to win 2 points is going to move on. It's really first to 2. It's a race to 2 points. So each time they win a battle, each time they enter the correct mass, they're going to get a point here in their little scoreboard up in the upper right or upper left corner. However, if one of our runners comes in and answers with the wrong answer, well, then we're going to tell them, I'm sorry, that answer is incorrect, and you may continue to try to solve. You're allowed to answer incorrect 1 time. But if our runner's answers incorrectly a 2nd time, then that's it, and it's going to be up to our 2nd runner to try to come up with the correct answer. Now, as far as the rules for the chat go, in the chat environment, the chat can absolutely play along. You're welcome to play along, but please do not help. Meaning, if you take a screen capture of the model and you start modeling it up yourself and you model it before our runners finish, don't post the answer here in the chat. Right? Today, these guys are the stars, and we're going to make sure we give them the opportunity to shine. Now, if you are able to complete these models faster than our runners, it's pretty darn impressive, and you might want to flex. And there's a way that you can flex in the chat, and you can see some of our chat regulars are typing it in. What you can do is you can say, I got it. Say, I got it. And that's how you can let people know that you were modeling faster than our runners that are being featured here today. You're faster than the final four. So if anybody out there in the audience has the Too Tall Toby special emojis, you can drop them in there and let people know that's how you do it. You say, I got it. And finally, please do not help the runners. If you see one of the runners maybe like missing a fillet, or like if you think maybe it would be faster to do it with a shell or do it with the revolve, please do not tell them. Okay, once again, we're going to try and make sure that we let these guys answer. Marco in the chat says, how do you deal with it if somebody lags? If somebody lags, that's just kind of on them. That's the answer to that one, right? It's a 1v1 competition, and there's always going to be kind of, I guess you could say, like, random elements that come into play. Like if you're playing tennis against somebody, maybe the sun is out on their side. And so certainly there are things that can be done to mitigate that. Like maybe if in tennis, what you'll do is you'll switch sides to try to mitigate that. But maybe the way that the sun is out on the one side could end up being problematic because it ends up like being on your strong side. Oops, Phil, we got you in here twice now. It looks like you went out and you came back in. Is that good? Is that what you wanted? We got double Phils here in the chat. Or no Phil. I don't know what it is. Double...
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. We can hear you.
There we go.
Yeah. We had an extra Phil in there. Let me see. I'm just going to stop the video of the extra one. There. Are we still good?
I'm good on my side.
Okay,
there we
cool.
go. I think we're good.
Okay. Just making sure we're not getting hacked. Thought maybe somebody else came in as Phil. A double Phil.
That's all the world needs is 2 fusion fills.
Oh, man, I would love that. It's a dream come true. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for the rules. Just remember, don't help the runners. That's basically it. Kegel3D says, hey, y'all, how's it going today? It's going great. Thank you for joining us. I'll try to be a little bit more attentive to the chat. We were playing a little bit of catch up in the beginning here, and now we are right back into the groove. We're right back on schedule now. We caught up, so we're good now. We can relax. So, guys, here we go. Oh, we got somebody in the chat saying Fusion users are going to lose. Oh, man. Here we go. The trash talking begins. All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. Let's find out what's going to happen. And we've got our first 2 runners here. We've got Max going up against Atse. And, oh, guys, you know what? There's one other thing I forgot about here. Maybe we'll do a practice, and then we'll learn a little bit more about our runners. But I got one other kind of special treat for the audience here, just to kind of set the level for everyone. So let's do a quick practice here, and then we'll take a look at that special treat. So we're going to go over here to our CAD versus CAD battle. And, guys, first of all, I do have actually, I have a couple special treats for you today. This is the semifinal, so I wanted you guys to, to have some specialness in this one. So here we go. We're going to do what we call a practice round, and this is just going to be so that Phil and I can make sure that we've got everything correct on the technical side. And so let's get into it here. This first practice battle. So this is just a practice. If you guys in the audience want to try and play along with, you can. Here we go. This practice battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So those of you who have been on the channel for a long time might notice that there is something a little bit different going on here on this one. We've got the live clock active now. So our runners are going to be grabbing a screen capture of the print, and we're going to flip over and take a look. We're going to see we've got Max on the left. Hold on a second here. And we're going to have Atse on the right. And let's make sure that we've got the overlay. And oh yeah, we got the overlay. This is looking good. So guys, we're going to see how long it takes them. Live clock. Nick says live clock. What? That's right. We got it. So we're going to be watching the chat, and we're going to see who comes in first. So it looks like Max came in with the first answer there, 1.97, and I think that is correct. I'm actually not looking at the... Sure, that one is correct. And
they both got the same answer. It's got to be correct,
It's got to be correct. Yeah, exactly. What was the inch L? Okay, yeah, 2 pounds. It's 2 pounds we're looking for. All right, cool. And then you said they both got the same answer. I always have this problem where I don't see Atse's answer come in. So, Atse, did you Did you see it in the chat, Phil? Did it come through in the chat for you?
I didn't see it in the chat. I saw it on a screen.
Saw
You
it
went
on
to highlight
screen.
it.
Okay. So this is why we do the tech check. We're trying to make sure that we get, we're trying to make sure that we are giving our runners a chance to make sure that everything is ironed out. I'd say, can you just test? Let's just test to make sure that you get. Yeah, the problem with the chat again. Something happens when Otse tries to copy and paste. He's just gonna have to type, which adds another factor, right? I remember that some of the people in the have talked to me about this and said that they get a little bit so nervous that sometimes like their fingers are shaking and they can't even type in the answer correctly. So I'd say just go ahead and type in the answer correctly, just so that we can make sure that we can all see it here. Big B from AZ says it's a conspiracy.
It's the Fusion Cloud holding them back.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed win.
Yeah, I still haven't seen an answer come in from Otse. Have you, Phil?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
I just saw him pull it up on a screen in comparison to Max. That's all I was seeing.
All right. I want to make sure that he's able to get it before we move on here. So I'd say if you're out there, make sure that you type in an answer. Maybe he went to use the restroom or something.
It wouldn't be the best of time if you're about to kick this off, but I guess we still got to spin the
okay, here we
wheel
go.
and everything.
Here we go. Let's type it in again. Okay, mass equal time. Yeah, you may want to try and just type it in. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. Okay, actually, and let me just make sure that I've got the chat down here too, so we can see. I
got chat pulled up on my side too for
good.
Any reasons.
Okay, good. Fantastic. All right, we'll watch it down here too. All right. Well, listen. Both of our runners got it correct. And here we go. Here we go. All right. All right, guys. Woo. Man, it's been an awesome couple of days here. It's been a lot of fun. And I got something special for you guys. I got a chance to sit down with the final 4 competitors and talk to them a little bit about how they're feeling about this competition. So, Phil, maybe if you wanna listen in on this, I think you're probably gonna want to mute the live meeting that we're in, and then you can turn it on YouTube so you can hear it. I don't think it's gonna come through the live meeting, but guys, I hope you guys enjoy this. I was able to do a little bit of an interview with our final 4 runners. And I think that we're gonna take a look at this now, and we're gonna see what their thoughts were on competing in this CAD versus CAD tournament. So here we go. Let's give this a try and see how this goes. Hey, what's up, everybody? Too Tall Toby here. And last week, I got to sit down and ask some questions to each of our final 4 runners in the 2025 World Championship of 3D CAD Speed Modeling. Let's see what they had to say. So congratulations on making it to the final 4. Let's start out by learning a little bit about you. What is your name and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Neil, and I'm from San Diego, California. And right now I'm studying at University of Wisconsin-Madison.
My name is Max, and I am from Denmark.
My name is Alexander Mikhailovsky, Alexander short for Ace, and I come from Macedonia, or like Toby pronounced it, Macedonia perfectly in Macedonia.
I'm Ricardo Jean from Brazil, and I've been living in Italy with my wife for 7 years, because my family is also Italian.
When did you first start using 3D CAD, and how do you use it at your job today?
So I first started with 3D CAD back in elementary school, so that was 9 years ago. And I started with AutoCAD actually. So that was, I just did 2D CAD back then. And now I learned Fusion and SOLIDWORks and how I use that at my job today. So right now I'm working an internship at an electronics company. They make robotics controllers. And my job was to basically integrate the electronics controller into real life solutions. So for example, I designed enclosures that have cooling that can integrate these into, for example, quadcopters and underwater vehicles and such.
I started with FingerCAD. I think many did. And when I realized the limitations, I switched over to Fusion. It's maybe 7 years ago.
I first started using CAD 2008, first year at university, and I started with AutoCAD and then with SolidWorks, and it felt like I was running a marathon, and suddenly somebody gave me a Ferrari, and I fell in love with SolidWorks ever since, and I'm working in SolidWorks ever since. So during my career and multiple jobs and multiple freelancing hirings, I've been working with sheet metal, plastics, metal parts, slate parts, and in many industries, toys, automotive industry, weapon industry, aerospace industry, and believe it or not, fountain for poultry once. It was amazing.
In 2007, my father taught me how to use the basics of SolidWorks, and I really want to learn more. Years passed, and today I am the reference in the work team when it comes to SolidWorks, due to the great knowledge I have.
How did you first hear about Too Tall Toby's World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling, and what made you want to get involved?
So I first heard about Too Tall Toby from the just YouTube recommendation. I saw the World Championship back in 2024, and I thought that was really cool and really interesting. And I clicked on the website and did some practice models, and I thought I could be a pretty good fit for this competition.
It just popped up in my YouTube feed, and I think that sounds interesting. I've never heard of speed modeling before, so and I watched some of the videos, and I thought to myself, well, that I think I can compete with that.
Funny story. I was at work and a colleague of mine came for advice. He wanted to do a sheet metal part, and I fixed the sheet metal part pretty quickly because I was just doing something very similar. And my colleague was, wow, that was really, really fast. You should qualify for the championship. And I was like, what championship? And he says, I don't know, there's got to be a championship. And we Googled, and Too Tall Toby came out. So we opened the link, a sheet metal part came out in a CAD versus CAD battle. And I said, I can do that faster. And I sat down and I did it faster, and I got hooked.
In 2019, I created the piano forte exercise, in which I timed how long each designer took to complete. A total of 20 Brazilian and Italian designers did it. Later, I created a statistic to study how fast modeling works. At the beginning of 2023, I participated in the Model Mania competition, and months later I searched for 3D competitions, and I found Too Tall Toby and the Model Monday Live. It was exactly what I was looking for. So at the end of the year, I entered in my first CAD versus CAD competition, and a community passionate about 3D modeling.
When you're competing in this tournament, on the day of one of your matchups, going head-to-head against another CAD expert, how do you feel?
Yeah, it's super stressful. Like literally on my first day when I was competing against James, that was my first ever like CAD competition against another person, and that was incredibly stressful because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know like how fast the other people were, and like when I was submitting answers for both of the matches against James, I was like my hands were literally shaking, and it was really difficult to even submit the answers. So yeah, it's really, really stressful.
Yeah, I'm really nervous actually, but I try to calm down and take deep breath so I can stay focused. But I'm actually really nervous.
Honestly speaking, I've been practicing with Metab and Chris Bico for this tournament, and I could never had such friends and such knowledge sharing between people if it wasn't for you. So it's really, really, really important stuff that you do here.
That's
not
awesome.
For me only, for everyone, for the community, for young engineers and so on.
That is the question. I feel extremely nervous with my heart pounding, with the emotions running high, and the real challenge is calm down and just modeling, just it.
You're going into the Final Four against 3 other experts. If it's not you who wins it all, who do you think will be the champion?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I think Ricardo Jean from Italy is gonna probably win it all. I mean, he has a lot of experience with like in the industry with 3D modeling. You know, he does it professionally for work, and yeah, I think he's gonna win.
I think Niels he will win. I think he's very fast, and of course he used fusion. He used fusion.
Easy answer, Ricardo. We've been in the finals in the Spring Open. He beat me, so if I don't beat him in a rematch, he will be the champion.
All the participants are fantastic, very fast. Niels and Max are newly. We don't know how the tricks they can have, and they can surprise us. But I bet the winner can be Ace Svaba, because he is very innovative, very creative, and he can be the winner.
And finally, you made it to the Final Four. You're going up against 3 other experts. If you could deliver a message to your competitors in this Final Four, what would that message be?
I mean, obviously everyone did really well up to this point. I just want to say good luck to all the competitors, and may the best CADer wins.
I wish him great luck, and everyone deserves to have a chance. Yeah.
Go easy on me. We all have a 3D printer now. Just let me have the best one.
Good luck for the runners, and let's do your best.
All right, guys, that was awesome. That was really, really fun to watch all those interviews and to get to know these runners a little bit better. I thought I saw Counteray in the chat said it's really insightful to see that how nervous they are, how they say they're so nervous. Yeah, like when they're doing it, they seem like they're so confident. Counteray, I think that was the gist of what you had said there in the chat. I remember reading that. Yeah, here, how they jump into the challenges, this is super insightful, especially the nervousness part. They always seem super confident from the stream view. Yeah, exactly. So it was really cool to see that, and to see that they all kind of had similar notions there, and to see the camaraderie. And you know, it's just I just feel so lucky to be a part of this community, and I'm so glad I got to share those interviews with all of you to kind of let you have some behind the scenes a little bit, and get to know what these guys actually look like and kind of what they're thinking as they go through these challenges. So very cool stuff, and huge shout out and thank you to those Final Four runners. It's going to be a lot of fun today, and may the best CADer win, as Neil said. Let's do this. Of course, it's going to be a Fusion guy that says that, right, Phil?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've got the wager of 10 gifted per Fusion takedown today, once again.
Wow, putting that out on the table, huh? Guys, in case you're not familiar, in the past, Fusion Phil has been generous enough to donate memberships to the Too Tall Toby channel based on whether or not the Fusion users win. So that is awesome additional motivation, and thank you so much for doing that, Phil. It's hugely appreciated, and thank you. That's really cool. Not necessary, but very cool. I'm so already so indebted to you just for being here with us and giving us your insights on Fusion. You know, I'm more of a SolidWorks and Onshape guy, and I don't have as much experience with Fusion, although I have been posting tutorials, you know, on Fusion. I have been trying to learn enough to post some tutorials here and there. But you are just such a wealth of knowledge, and it's so good having you in the co-commentary booth here, so thank you. So, guys, the only way that we can really get these matches started is by using what we call the Wheel of Fate. See, if Phil and I knew what challenges were going to be coming up, it really wouldn't be fair to the runners. So instead, what we do is we randomize it. And today, the Wheel of Fate is sponsored by our friends over at Plasticity. We really couldn't do this Wheel of Fate without the amazing technology of the Wheel of Fate, and of course the amazing crew over at Plasticity sponsoring the Wheel of Fate today. So let's get the wheel up and running here, and let's take a look at this thing. Let me just see here. Here we go. And guys, today the Wheel of Fate is, like I said, sponsored by our friends over at Plasticity. And a lot of times what we'll see is that our amazing Too Tall Toby chat community will try to prove their clairvoyance by predicting what the Wheel of Fate has in store for our runners. Each one of these numbers represents a different potential challenge that they're going to be faced with, and it's going to be up to our Wheel of Fate to actually determine which challenge shows up. Is it going to be a sheet metal? Is it going to be multi-body? Is it going to be a plastic molded part? We won't know. Only the wheel knows. And so Counter-Ray coming in with a super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Good luck to everyone. You all got this. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for that super chat. And guys, we see here in the chat 40 from Matab, 34 from Peter. Sparky thinks it's going to be 38. Jim U, 37. Reike says it's going to be 39. Big B from AZ, 35. Valentine, 36. Guys, this is also my way of just saying hello and thank you for joining us today. COD Mobile, hello, and thank you for joining us today. 37. John G, 36. PC Arduino, 40. Cure 4A is going to be 36. And I think I jumped ahead a little bit there. Did jump ahead a lot of bit there. But guys, we see we've got a lot of people in here that are trying to predict what the challenge is going to be. We got Nugan here saying 42. La 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 is going to say 36. Honor Tursur is going to be 38. Sandsdorp is going to be 36. Mobile 37. Sebastian 36. Rajan is going to be 39. And it looks like the usernames just changed all of a sudden to the @ symbol. Counter-Ray, 39. Nice. Dom thinks it's going to be 37. Very nice. What's up, Dom? How you doing? John G is here, 36. Wait, I feel like I already read a bunch of these. All right, guys, if I skipped you, I'm sorry. But let's let this thing have a rip and find out what challenge is in store for our runners. Here we go. No shuffle today. We're just spinning it. It was already kind of rolling around. So, and guys, the Wheel of Fate is going to tell us that our first challenge is going to be drawing number 35. So this one is going to go out to Atse and Max, and this is going to be a good one. And again, I just want to say thank you so much to our sponsor of the Wheel of Fate, Plasticity. Guys, if you're not familiar with Plasticity, you can visit them at plasticity.xyz. They offer advanced and Class A surfacing, easy interoperability, and no subscriptions. Own your tools, no strings attached. So check them out if you haven't seen them before, plasticity.xyz. And let's just, I know we just saw those interviews, so we really learned a lot about our runners. But Phil, maybe while the production team is getting the challenges up and running, you could just tell us a little bit more about these runners.
No problem. Glad to do so. So you have Max out there, as he's mentioned in his chat. He is from Denmark nonetheless. He also started CAD about 7 years ago, which is pretty impressive. In 7 years, he's not only jumped ship from one CAD software to another, but he's now sitting here in the semifinals. So outside of that, we're going to go ahead and switch it over to the Aces. Ran a half marathon this month. That is pretty crazy. He is in pain, but the good news is he sits at a desk for this CAD tournament. So I'm pretty sure his hands and fingers are still in pretty good shape for this.
Well, that is impressive. I got to say that I don't think I've ever run that distance before. Do you know what the distance is for a half marathon?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
I feel like I feel like a marathon is like 28 miles. So a half marathon maybe is like 14 miles. I can usually make it out to the mailbox and back, and then I'm pretty cooked. So
yeah, going up the stairs. Going up the stairs is my limit.
All right, good. So we're in a similar boat here. All right, guys. Well, listen. This is it, and this is our first CAD vs. CAD battle here featuring Max and Ase. I hope you guys are ready. I'm ready. We've been building up to this all week. I know that it was a little bit of a slow start today, but now we are here, and it was so awesome to learn more about these runners as we get into it. Max, shake it off a little bit. Ase, shake it off a little bit. Here we go. This is going to be our first challenge. And guys, in this first CAD vs. CAD battle, we're going to see Max, our number 11 seed, using Fusion from Denmark, going up against Atse, our number 9 seed, using SolidWorks from Macedonia. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. Nope. 3, 2. Hold on a second, guys. Screwed it up. We got new systems going here, okay? We're trying to figure it out. All right, here we go, guys. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXX.X grams. The tolerance on this part is plus or minus 0.2 grams. And guys, this part is called a flagpole adapter. It's made from 1060 aluminum, which is 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. It's in millimeters. And this is a tier 6 model, guys, a tier 6 challenge to kick things off in our semifinals for the World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling. We got Max on the left using Fusion. We got Atse on the right using SolidWorks. Phil, what do you think about this model?
I think I'm glad it's not me, as always. I see it, you know, I fail to get a screenshot when I get my chance, but then I have to mentally reference it. This does look like one of those parts would be nice to cast it versus machining it. That's for sure.
Yes, we got some draft, a little bit of draft angle going up on those side, I don't even know what you would call them, but the L shape that's kind of going out the side of this thing. And this is going to be an interesting model for our runners. It'll be interesting to see what technique they use to build this thing, if they decide to build it using like extrusions or cuts or what they end up using for this. I like seeing Max there on the left. What's he doing? Some kind of layout work?
Yeah, so it looks like he's actually doing like a half profile down the center. He's splitting it on two sides as if you would deal with the draft angle.
Okay.
From there, you never know, because, you know, 1 minute we blink and then boom, it's something else, right?
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, Atse on the right looks like he's trying to draw first blood, and indeed he has drawn first blood. So Atse on the right comes in with that very first set of geometry. Looks like he was able to come up with the kind of overall shape of this thing looking in from the side. It's interesting that it looked like they both kind of started with the same geometry, but I'm not really sure where they're going to go with it from here. It's very interesting approach from both of our runners.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with Ace on the right. I mean, he does have that J profile. He's also got the solid formation. I'm seeing things in SolidWorks that I always wish would have been inside of Fusion at the end of the day, where we would have had to create additional sketches and do a few other things to get there. But this is a challenging one. Tier 6 is pretty wild, and I would almost challenge. I thought about this when we were kicking this off. I think next competition we should have tandems, teams of 2, and you can only go once the first person is done. I think it would make this very interesting, and not have the same CAD software. That would be very, very interesting to me. But
I like where you're going with this. And
it's crazy to see.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by Atse's approach on this thing. You know, I definitely would not have taken it that way. I was really not expecting to see him come through there with an extrude and then another extrude. And yet here we are, he's created that geometry and he's already got that draft running down through that webbing. So, you know, shows what I know. That's really impressive that he was able to use that workflow and come up with the desired results. Meanwhile, we got Max on the left, who's, you know, it looks like he's still laying things out, but we've seen so many times with Fusion that all of a sudden we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 features coming together. So now I think we're going to see some magic coming from Max, and he's got that first feature already extruded.
Oh yeah, I think what we saw on Max's side is definitely a lot more work to get everything positioned, and he's going to reuse a lot of that one sketch to make multiple bodies, where Ricardo is kind of taking it, you know, one step at a time and completing out and moving on, completing out and moving on.
Yep. Or Atse.
Or Atse, yeah.
All the SolidWorks guys look the same to you, huh?
Well, it's the 3-letter name versus the 3-letter name. At this point, right?
Yes, exactly. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So
I love these competitions because we stress it the same on our side. We do what we call CAD for CAM, which is from napkin sketch to a part to be machined. And it's so funny when you get 10 people together and allow them all to do something differently. Everybody learns from everybody else more than I could ever teach anybody.
Yes. And that, you know, very well said, and very much what the spirit of this competition is. And really the spirit of the whole Too Tall Toby community is, you know, just allowing people to learn from one another. And a lot of times the best lessons occur when you look at how somebody else is using a different CAD system, because, you know, the instructors in your CAD system maybe never would have even learned to do it that way. And so there's so much knowledge that gets dropped off the table. And now that we've got the ability to see people in different CAD systems modeling the same parts, it's been so valuable. It's helped me tremendously in my workflows. And I think maybe someday I'll do a live stream about all the different lessons I've learned from other CAD systems that I'm now using in my CAD system.
That would be interesting nonetheless, because again, I think the CAD softwares have gotten so close together to be identical that it's one of those things that just the way you think about approaching some of this stuff is, I've always used the method of rectangles. Rectangles are your best friend, even to make round parts. And it's funny how that just changes the way people think.
Yes. And I think we saw some of that from Max in his layout. I think we're going to see when he goes back to that layout, we're going to probably see some of those rectangles turning into round parts. But he better get his foot on the gas, because Otse is really moving through this model quickly, and it is super impressive. There are a lot of dimensions on this drawing, and yet Otse is just kind of going one feature at a time, looking at the drawing, finding the required dimensions, and turning those into solid features. And wow. The problem is with a tier 6 model, a lot of dimensions means there's a lot of things you could get wrong. And so we'll see how Otse does in the end, if he ended up mistyping anything or getting anything wrong, or if he ends up nailing it. But look at Max on the left there, like we mentioned, taking that rectangle and turning it into a round feature. Wow.
100%. That's kind of what I thought he was going for there. Now, I mean, he's already pushed past the point of he's had to create now a new sketch or a whole feature on one of the additional faces. But I think in the world of SolidWorks, the same way, had you had an extra line there for the revolve, you could have went straight for the tube versus the solid, right?
Right, exactly. And so it looks like we might end up seeing an answer coming in. So Otse comes in with an answer, 322.68 grams. And that is not correct, Otse. That is not correct. And so what Otse is going to need to do here now is he's going to need to go through and look at the drawing. But wow, yeah, Contrary says, wow, already 6 minutes and 44 seconds. And he's already got an answer, but unfortunately that answer is not correct. So he's going to need to go through. He's going to need to look at his model. The challenge is that, Otse has already used up one of his answers. If he uses a second answer, he is blocked out. And so then it'll be kind of Max's game to lose, or Max's point to lose. So that becomes a little bit of a challenge in this thing. And so, certainly it looks like Otse maybe sees something that he didn't like in the model, and now he's going to go through and try to fix that. But, we see in the chat is urging him to advance with caution. So that's pretty cool. I love that the chat knows, that they've seen so many people in the past get burned by moving maybe just a little bit too fast. It's great if you're fast, but if you're making models that are incorrect, then all you're really doing is making scrap. And so certainly we don't want that. Sebastian in the chat said, yep, speaking from experience. So advising caution, speaking from experience. And we see that Max on the left now is continuing to move through this thing and trying to figure out what's going on with his model. And Honor Tercer, we're gonna try not to answer in the chat, please. Okay, we're gonna try to make sure that it's just the runners that are answering in the chat, not anybody who's actually out there watching. None of the audience. Okay. So this is definitely meant to be for our runners only. Okay.
Ace is kind of paused up. I don't know if he's going to send anything in chat or not.
Okay, and Otse comes in with his revised answer, 323.97 grams, and that is not correct. Otse, I'm sorry, that is not correct. So Otse has now answered incorrectly twice. And so, guys, what this means is that we bring out the clock of doom. So when one of our runners answers twice incorrectly, what it means is that now it's up to the other runner to get the correct answer. And unfortunately, Otse, that answer is not correct. And so that means that it's going to be up to Max. Now, the pressure is on Max. It's not like he has to model the whole thing from the start in 5 minutes, but he only has 5 minutes to come up with the correct answer. And we're going to let Max kind of try to get through this thing and see if he can't figure out the geometry from this part, from this tier 6 model. But that is the challenge. Of course, we saw Otse going through. He recognized right away that he had something off. He had that hex that was off, and he had needed to go through and repair that. But was there something else? That's the question. And that is the problem when you only get one incorrect answer. We see Otse in the background there now kind of going through and trying to figure out, he's not going to let it go. He's like a dog on a scent. He's not going to let it go.
It's always great to see, I love this competition. And at first I had to bite my tongue because I thought it was going to be tier 6 because it only took 6 minutes to do.
Oh, no. It is a complicated model. Many features. Look at that feature tree on Atse's machine. I'll try and scoot it over here a little bit so everybody can see it a little more cleanly. But that feature tree is, massive, and that's what a tier 6 means. It means it takes a lot of features to complete this model for an average user, a normal user, not a user who's trying to like minimize their features or anything. But
I tell you what, is that something you teach on your side there, Toby? Is we've always tried to push people to be taught when it deals with the timeline in Fusion down at the bottom of Max's screen, is the first couple times you design something, you're going to end up with 30 or 40 features down there. And your goal is to always try to aim for the least amount of features possible.
Yeah, I think for me personally, like I don't mind having more features if it's going to make it easier for me to look at the drawing, look at the model later and navigate it. I don't have that good of a memory. So if I look at a model 6 months from now, I'm not going to have any idea what's going on. So I'd like to have the different features so that I can kind of rename them in the tree and make it a little easier. And there's also times when it's beneficial for like configurations when you have, different family tables of parts. It's definitely, the right amount of features. You want to have just the right amount of features. That's what Big B from AZ says in the chat. I agree with that.
No, I would agree with you completely. When designing with a feature tree in mind, it definitely changes everything up, especially things like patterning features versus patterning sketches. It does make a big difference, right? Grouping chamfers and fillets or not grouping them and all of that.
So, wow, this is interesting. So 2 minutes left for Max, and Max is kind of looking through his model. He's trying to double check that he's got all the appropriate dimensions, make sure that he's got all the appropriate, dimensions, make sure he's got all the appropriate features. And Matav in the chat saying 250 people watching right now, Phil. This is fantastic. You're quite the draw for this live stream. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I blasted it out multiple places, so I don't know if they're here for me or if it just showed up on their watch now.
Thank you. Well, guys, don't forget to hit the like button on this video. Don't forget to share it with other people as you're watching. And Max, you've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. He has not yet answered incorrectly. And so he does have the ability to answer incorrectly and then answer correctly. But with only 1 minute and 20 seconds left, we're going to see what he's going to come up with here, how he's going to handle this final section of the model. I'd say really got through that quickly. It had a full model, and it looked like a nice, fully defined model. Really moved fast. But here we go, the final minute of the Clock of Doom here. And let's see what Max comes up with. We're watching the chat, seeing what he comes up with. 323 is not correct. 323.26 is not correct. Interestingly, it was the same answer that Atse came up with. So very interesting. That's one of your answers, Max. And so if you want to look at the drawing, look at your print, you probably have enough time to get one quick change in and get one more answer in. But with a model like this, with all those different dimensions, it's got to be tough to get through the entire model. And we might be looking at our first match being a push today. Phil, we made the models too complicated.
I don't think so. Nah. I think it's obtainable. It's just the first one, right? They got to get the nerves out of the way.
Exactly. They got to get the nerves out of the way. Just
like you and I live streaming. The first 2 or 3 minutes of live streaming is the worst because you got to get into that flow and that pattern. And
yep, exactly. All right, guys, that expires the Clock of Doom. And so unfortunately, this one is going to be a push. But for all those of you who are in the audience, this is your chance to shine. If you modeled it up and you feel like you got it correct, feel free to type your answer in the chat. And Max came in with an answer. It was a little bit too late for the clock, but unfortunately, it was also slightly out of spec. You see, Max came in with his answer 314.68. Much closer, definitely much closer, but not within spec. And the correct answer, Rambro's Workshop, another Fusion user, 313.6 is correct within tolerance. My answer was 313.6 actually on the nose. And I tested that in a couple different CAD systems. So GG to Rambro's Workshop. Even though he's not in the tournament right now, he is currently the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling. And Rambro's Workshop did get that correct. The correct answer was 313.6. And Honor Terser, also 313.4, was within specification. It's a plus or minus 0.02 grams. So well done, my friend. Dom Linder, 313.6. That is correct. Uncle Fab, 420. That is also correct. Interestingly, that is also correct. Somehow within tolerance. And Last Steep, 324. Nope, not within spec. Guys, nice job. Rambro's Workshop continues to assert his fusion dominance. 313.6 was the correct answer for that one. And guys, we got ourselves a push for the very first match. It happens. It happens sometimes. If you're here for the first time, just know that it happens sometimes. And nice job to our runners. Congratulations. Not an easy part. And let's go. Let's go on to the next one. Guys, we got to turn back to the Wheel of Fate here for the next one. GG to the winner. No points on that one. No winner on that one. But we all win because we get to see extra matches today. So, guys, we're going to turn back to the Wheel of Fate. Phil, what do you think the Wheel of Fate has in store for us for this one?
Ooh, I'm going to go 36, I think. 36, okay. I'm 36. 36 has got to be the number, right?
All right. Valentin thinks 36. Honor Tercer thinks it's going to be 38 this time. Sebastian thinks it's going to be 36. John G, 36. We got PC Arduino, 40. Honor Tercer, 38. Todd Becker, 38. Serial Sal is in the chat. What's up, my friend? 39. Conteray thinks 37. Peter thinks it's going to be 34. Peter's been pretty spot on these clairvoyance challenges. Dom thinks it's going to be 37. Jim Yu, 40. And la 38. And Ken Haley in the chat. What's up, my man? 36. And David in the chat, 36. And Jimmy in the chat thinks it's going to be 39. And Matab thinks it's going to be... Oh, we got a lot more people coming in with answers. 40, 39, 39, 37, 34, 30. I gotta try and read faster if I'm going to get to all of them. Here we go. Atse says, I do believe in second chances. Yes, good. All right, let's give this thing a spin. Shout out to Plasticity, guys. If you haven't checked them out before, they help with advanced surfacing. You can export right from Plasticity into your CAD system. Guys, this one is going to be drawing number 40. Okay. So good luck to both of our runners. The Wheel of Fate has delivered us a challenge, and we're going to see how our runners do on this. And Phil, maybe while I'm getting the production team, working with the production team to get this ready, you can tell us a little bit more about our runners.
Of course. So I'm a little behind on the old YouTube content here, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. Let me get up there. There we go. We are back. So it looks like on the Mac side of things is he did start out originally with Tinkercad. That's quite interesting nonetheless. I've never personally used Tinkercad, but I've heard it was quite well. Now, from that, we're going to jump back over to Ase, and he was part of a band that never got famous. The other guys were good. So that's awesome. And outside of that, kids' songs overrule heavy metal. Awesome. Can't go wrong. I have kids myself, and you guys can imagine the look on my face and the excitement knowing that kids soundtracks are remixed into better versions to help me get through my drives.
Wow, that is very cool to know, and definitely something I was not aware of, but definitely good to know. And give me 1 second here, guys. I just got to take care of a little minor housekeeping issue that I'm running into here, actually for this next challenge. So I think I'm going to flip over to full screen just for a sec, just to make sure that we don't accidentally flash the answer or anything like that. That would be a catastrophe on this one, right? But I wonder what that means. Kids songs overrule. Kids songs overrule. What does it say? Heavy metal. I don't know what that means exactly. Yeah. I still got you on audio here, Phil. I'm just coming up with my full screen here just to make sure, like I said, I don't want to end up accidentally flashing something that I don't mean to.
No worries. This gives us a chance to admire your background in the office.
Yes.
When is the day that you're going to get that guitar out and actually play for us?
Oh, man. Well, I have played a couple of songs on the YouTube channel. So I definitely have some songs on there. Oh, you know
is there a Too Tall Toby CAD vs. CAD intro song that you
Not yet. We should definitely make one of those. That's for sure. Okay, I see what my problem is here. I just have this thing named wrong. Okay. That was the problem. Let me just make sure that I have the
sketch song. I like that. Sketch song.
The sketch song is a real song. That's a song.
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
That's a song
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, that's got a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff there with the sketch song for sure. So the sketch song is a real thing that really exists. So yeah. And then wait, what do I got here? Hold on a second, Phil. I'm sorry.
No, it's understandable, man. I tell you, it's my luck. Even last week, same thing. I jumped in and didn't realize I had feedback from my own speakers, and everybody's like, "There's an echo," and I couldn't hear it, and it was desktop speakers dumping audio back into my mic.
I don't think I heard it either. Man, that's interesting. I don't even remember hearing that last week. All right, guys, we're all set now. We got it all figured out now.
Valentine out there is asking why nobody uses Creo in the championship. Valentine, are you somebody that actually has Creo nonetheless?
Is that why he's asking?
Everybody's got their chance to get in here and go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then for this, I think we're just gonna have to do a little bit of on the fly pivot work here. I'm somehow missing something that I normally have on this, so we're just gonna do a little bit of on the fly pivot work, and it's all good. We're gonna figure this all out together, guys. It's all good. All right, cool. Good.
Moy out there is asking about using symmetry. Now, I don't know so much on the sketch level of symmetry. Symmetry is nice, but I have personally found out that usually once you get to a solid, it's much easier to do things with a mirror versus symmetry at the sketch.
That's what I like as well. I think that when you do sketch symmetry, it has its place for sure, but a lot of times you end up with all those extra relationships, and then you need to go back and change it, and then it just becomes a little bit cumbersome. So
that's right. Pattern features don't pattern sketches.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys. Well, listen, that was a really fun first match, and we are going to now go into the second match. Shake it off, guys. You had to get those initial jitters out. But I want to say thank you so much to the 250 people that are watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying this kind of content. And we are here in the semifinals. Not a single point has been awarded yet, but we're going to get our first point awarded right now. So this next CAD versus somebody in the comments reminded me that it's actually not CAD versus CAD, it's CAD versus CAD, and I've been just like abbreviating it out of like East Coast accent mentality. So this next CAD versus CAD battle featuring Max, our number 11 seed from Denmark, running Fusion, going up against Ate, our number 9 seed from Macedonia, running SolidWorks, begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? The tolerance on this part is plus or minus 1 gram, and this is a sheet metal part, and yet it's made out of aluminum. Interesting. So 1060 aluminum, 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter, 5 millimeter wall thickness. Phil, grab a screen capture if you need to. Hit the print screen button on your computer. And guys, we are going to get into this CAD versus CAD battle. Here we go. Max on the left running Fusion. We'll see what kind of sheet metal skills he has. Ate mentioned in his intro that he does have some sheet metal skills in his back pocket. So we're going to see how well they do with this model. And shout out to Frankenbergmortal signing up for the YouTube channel. Buy me a seltzer water. Thank you, my friend. And you get some special icons for that. And wow, the Wheel of Fate is cruel, giving a sheet metal model to Ate, who has quite an extensive sheet metal background. But Max also is a machinist. So we're going to see what his sheet metal skills are here in a moment as well. Wow, wow, wow. One of the slightly easier models in today's competition, a tier 4 model, came up here on the Wheel of Fate for this one. So interesting model here. And
it's always crazy to me because I feel like there's two categories when you start to talk about the modeling abilities of people. Is you have people that can come up with an original design and not be a very good modeler. And then you have people that are great modelers that can't come up with an original design. And I think I fall into that first category of, you know what, I'll figure out how to model it, but I can't. Original stuff drives me mad because I put my machinist brain on and then it's just nothing but a bad time.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that if you've been a machinist for so long that you're going to be wired to almost limit yourself from using certain things that a novice might just be like, yeah, I'll just put that fillet there, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Where oh no, what's the point of putting it there? We're not going to be able to build it anyway. And so
3D printing has ruined me for machining, I think, because you could just be like, who cares? I can print supports.
Well, I gotta say, watching Odsay navigate through this model is really interesting. That was a kind of an interesting move there with the triangle. He just kind of dropped it wherever and then went through. And look at how quickly he was able to add some of those relationships. And he's really getting this geometry in place quickly. But interestingly, Max on the left is sketching that same exact shape, that triangle shape, and he's already got that flange complete. So, wow. These guys are really neck and neck. I thought Odsay jumped out really far ahead in the beginning, and now we see Odsay and Max are really neck and neck here. And this may come down to just who types in the correct dimensions. And wow, this is really, really close.
Definitely moving there for sure. I'm very interested to see how this turns out. And I definitely can see Max. Nothing against him, but there is some things in the world of sheet metal that would help him right here. But I do see him going for a little bit more of a traditional approach of creating a body, since the flat pattern doesn't matter, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. With these challenges, even if it is a quote unquote sheet metal challenge, you can model it as solids with thin walls, much like what it looks like Max is doing here. You could really do it either way, whatever you're most comfortable with. I think it's a real testament to the speed that Max possesses, that he's able to get this far this quickly, not using, the sheet metal features that maybe would speed things along. But
100%.
Wow. Odsay really making short work of that thing, and I think we're going to see an answer here in just a moment. We are watching the chat, and Odsay comes in with an answer. 1097 grams, and that is correct. And congratulations to Odsay. Wow. That was some super fast modeling there, and really, really impressive how quickly he was able to get that in there. Wow, wow, wow. Odsay, amazing. And for some reason, my win icons are not displaying. But that was really, really good, Odsay. Nicely done. Nicely done. Wow, wow, wow. And
I do got to say, I think what really helped him there is the fact that he was utilizing the sheet metal tools, because on the fusion side of the fence, the flange tool does do wonders if you have the correct settings for K factors and things of that nature.
Yes. Yeah, I agree for sure. That was just really, really interesting to watch, really fun to watch there. And congratulations, man, Odsay, that was great. Great work. Okay, I got that down there. I got this. Oh, maybe this was. Oh, there we go. There we go. Bang. Congratulations to Odsay, and well done, my friend. Woo! And look at Max. Max ended up getting it done. Did he end up not even 4 minutes? Wow. And did Max come in with his answer as well? That was.
I did not see an answer come in.
Not see an answer, yeah.
Max.
So Max,
but I know he did get to the point of stop.
Yeah, I see he's got the aluminum in there. Yeah, 1122. Looks like he might be a little bit high, but wow, guys, really, really impressive. Nice job, and congratulations. And so 1 point goes to Odsay, but of course, you do have to win 2 points in order to move on in this tournament and move on into the finals. So in order to find out who's going to win that next point, we are going to move back into the Wheel of Fate. And congratulations to the winner of that point. And of course, congratulations to everybody today. All 4 of our finalists have won a 3D printer. And so now we move back to the Wheel of Fate. And what does the Wheel of Fate have in store for our runners next? That is the question. We got 34. This is actually, I think, 33. 37, 39, 38, and 36. And of course, 33 and 34 are kind of doubling for one another. So we're going to just call it 33 and 34. But you guys know 33 is the magic number. Peter says 34. 3D Hub 1 says 38 plus or minus 2. I like that. Answer with a tolerance. Throw it right back in my face. And Jim U 39, Serial Sal 39. Steven thinks it's going to be 39. And Sebastian thinks it's going to be 36. And Last Seep is going to say 37. 38 from Richard. What's up, Richard? And On Your Terser, 38. And Nomar is here in the chat, 34. What's up? What's up? Keenan Carrick, 33. Bogdan, 25. Looks like Chris Toss, 1993, 37. Kegel 3D, 33. And Chakari, 33. I have a hard time reading regular words. This is pretty interesting coming up with these crazy words. And LM thinks it's going to be 36. And Vicky Chong thinks it's going to be 0.9. Very nice, Vicky. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. 33, actually 39, 37, 39, 39, 36. Go on. Let's do it. The car, Jesus, the car, Jesus. Let's go. Here we go. We got tongue twisters. Exactly. We got tongue twisters in the chat today. Oh, wow. Okay. This is a good one. This will do. Guys, congratulations to Ate winning that challenge. And we are going to move on to our next challenge. And Phil, maybe you could give these guys a little bit of advice. Or actually, you know what, Phil? Contre had a question earlier. I think Contre was asking to pick your brain about what the differences are between Fusion and Inventor. In your eyes, what are the differences between Fusion and Inventor? Are you able to answer that?
I am, for the most part. I would say Fusion is a newer tool. It is not as sophisticated.
Okay.
It does lack in a few areas still today, like the ability to do frame generators, which thankfully that's not in this competition. But it definitely caters to a different area of the market. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier with the AutoCAD. AutoCAD kind of shifted its goals more towards your industrial layouts, blueprinting, and things of that nature versus a 3D modeling tool. Now, the good news is regardless of if you use Fusion, Inventor, or SolidWorks, they all still use the same principles and they all still work very identical. Yes, you'll give and take a few features here and there, but as Toby yourself, you've even moved over to, you were doing Onshape there for a while, weren't you?
Yes, sir. Still doing it.
Yeah. And how's that feel? That was a pretty easy jump nonetheless, right?
Yeah, easy jump. You know, I've jumped from SolidWorks to Onshape and Onshape to Fusion and Fusion back to Onshape and Onshape back to SolidWorks, all over the place. And exactly to your point, you know, especially when you're first getting started, the fundamentals are similar, very similar, you know, for all of them. And a few little shortcut adjustments here and there, and it really becomes easy to jump between them. So I'm very impressed with all of them. I haven't had any experience with Inventor. So I can't speak to that, but very impressed with what's going on with Fusion and what's going on with Onshape. And yeah, just very impressed all around with the CAD systems that are out there today. But that's interesting to hear about how the frame generator is not there in, you said it's not there in Fusion, but it is in Inventor, or vice versa.
Yeah, so Inventor has things like frame generator. There's a lot of other tools there. Again, I wouldn't call it, I'll get in trouble for it because there is an Inventor LT version, but Fusion is like Inventor's little brother. So again, the biggest differences out of the box is same does SolidWorks. You got to pick a part or an assembly. Fusion doesn't matter because we're in a component structure. You don't have a design tree. You have a history, but it all still kind of functions the same.
Okay, that's very cool. All right, well, guys, listen, we're going to try something new here. I know that we're trying all this new stuff now, and I'm not trying to freak anybody out or anything, but we're going to try something new. We're going to see if we can kick in some hype music as we go to our full screen here. So I think it's going to work. I just gave it a little test there. You guys might have gotten a little blast there of that hype music. So I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get into it here with our next CAD versus CAD battle. And once again, we're in the semifinals. Congratulations to Atse earning that first point. And good luck to Atse and Max on this next one. If Atse can win this next point, then that will be it. Game over, and Atse will be moving on to the World Championship match. If Max can win this next point, then we all win because we all get to see another match between these guys. So here we go. Shake it off a little bit, guys. And this next CAD versus CAD battle in our World Championship semifinals between Max, our number 11 seed from Denmark running Fusion, and Atse, our number 9 seed from Macedonia running SolidWorks, begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this multi-body part or assembly in XXX.x grams? The tolerance on this part is plus or minus 0.05 grams. So we're doing something a little new here. We're kind of tightening up that tolerance. For the material and the density, see the bill of materials. This is a multi-body part, and good luck to our runners. Let's take a look at how they're going with this thing. We got Max on the left, running Fusion. We got Atse on the right, running SolidWorks. And it looks like Atse is about to draw first blood with that very first extrusion. Let's go. This thing is called a diesel screwdriver because the handle is made from aluminum and the shaft is made from stainless steel. So good luck, good luck. Let's see how these guys do.
Very interesting once again to see the approach here. It's always, you got all in one shot versus individual pieces.
Yeah, it looks like Max on the left is starting with like you said, the handle and kind of the whole shape. Where Otse on the right decided to take a look at that shaft first. I mean, that sharp geometry that he's creating there looks to me like the shaft. Yeah, so he's trying to get in there and create that shaft first. So very interesting. Gino in the chat has found this channel by chance. Amazing one. Nice. Welcome, my friend. And Otse diving in there and creating the geometry there on the front of that handle. And guys, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the hype music and if it's hyping you up. Let me know that this was worth the investment.
So I see a couple of questions coming through on the side of Fusion with a little bit of things like lagginess and slow. And I would have to mention to you guys that most commonly what I see in the world of Fusion being laggy and slow is due to computer performance.
Okay.
But if you guys want a more one-on-one approach to that, feel free to reach out to us through our channel and I can help diagnose your system. Again, with the great world of Windows and Chrome alone eating 16 gigs of RAM, there's a lot of things. It's the great thing about Solidbox at the end of the day is, you know, you can get that stripped down and lightened up right out the box.
Yes. Shout out to Solidbox.
So I would be curious, though, is I guess this would be my question, because I know SolidWorks in a true environment of doing this, not speed modeling, wouldn't you approach this from parts into an assembly versus bodies, right?
Yeah, that's a great question, Phil. And the answer to that question is you could definitely do it either way. You could do it as individual bodies, you know, and it's, you know, SolidWorks, just like Fusion, like a lot of the CAD systems out there, allows you to model as multi-body and then turn it into an assembly, multi-body, and leave it as multiple bodies. You have a lot of flexibility there if you really learn some of the more powerful elements of multi-body. And so you could definitely go either way. But like you said, Phil, I probably would opt to model them as two separate parts and then bring them together in an assembly. The thing is, in the case of this model, and in the case of a lot of the models that we see here in the tournament, when they are multi-body, there are often interrelationships between the components. You know, the depth of the depth of the shaft might be related to the hole in the handle, or there may be some other things that are going on. I don't want to give away too much, but there may be some other things going on with this drawing that might actually make it advantageous to do it all as multi-body. And that's how the real world is too. You know, a lot of times in the real world, you've got multiple components that are all kind of related to one another. And so it actually could be a little bit easier to work in multi-body. So in the case of this tournament, you could design this as multi-body, or you could design it as individual components, whatever you prefer as a runner.
Going back to what you were saying in that first part, talking about organization and all of that, is it's one of those things in the world of Fusion is I see a lot of people in chat saying bottom up, top down design. We have a middle out workflow in Fusion, but you're right, is when you're dealing with two components in our cases or multiple parts, is you do have to drive some dimensions off other dimensions with tolerancing, and that all comes into your timeline or your design tree in the order of operations.
Well, we just saw Max go through and assign the materials to his components in Fusion. I think we might end up seeing an answer. Max comes in with an answer, 225 grams. And that is not correct. 225.5 would be his answer, and that is not correct. So Max is going to need to look at that drawing and try to figure out what he missed. He's now burned off one of his available two answers. So good luck to Max looking back over that design. But 225.5 grams, that is not correct within tolerance. And so Max is going to need to take a look at that drawing and see if he can't figure out, was it the wrong material? Was it the wrong density? Was there some geometry somewhere he missed, a bad dimension, a missing fillet? You know, he's going to look at that drawing and he's going to try to figure it out. All of us in the audience are just going to hang out and watch. We could say something like, I think I see what's missing. I think I see what's wrong. But it's up to us in the audience. Jern saying, I think that might have been, okay, looks like Jern is auditing Matab. Looks like things, we're having some battles here in the family. We got Jern auditing Matab here, unless it was something that I said. Okay, and Otse coming into the chat with an answer, 226.98 or 227 grams. That is not correct within tolerance. So now both of our runners have answered one time incorrectly. It's not time for the clock of doom yet. The clock of doom only happens when somebody answers twice incorrectly, but now it is do or die. If you answer incorrectly again, you will not earn this point. And so Otse has a chance to close down the entire competition to move on to the championship. Max has a chance to kind of tie things up. And so both of our runners are now re-examining the model, re-examining the drawing, and trying to see if they can't figure out, what did I do wrong? What was I missing? And it's very interesting. This is an interesting drawing. And if you guys have the screen capture, or if you need to, you go back. And Max comes in with an answer, and his answer is 198.9 grams. And that is not correct. And so, guys, we bring out the clock of doom. Now, Otse has been in this spot before, and here he is again. If he can answer this correctly with the clock of doom on, then he will move on to the championship. He's got 4 minutes and 45 seconds. The clock of doom is upon us. Max has answered twice incorrectly. Otse has answered once incorrectly. And now it's going to be up to Otse to look over the entire model and see if he can't figure out what he was missing, what he did wrong, and see if he can't answer correctly. This is where there's a lot of pressure. It's really, truly up to Otse to win or lose this battle. What's going to happen, Phil?
Honestly, I think from the angle of what I can see on what you have overlaid right now, I have a feeling I know exactly where both people are struggling.
Yes, I agree. Wow. So both of our runners were really anxious to get that answer in there. And both of our runners now need to look at their models. Of course, Max is only looking at it for a point of pride, but Otse, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. He's trying to look over all the dimensions. He's trying to look over the drawing. These are not easy drawings, okay? This one is another tier 5. We've had a couple of tier 5s here today. Or actually, I guess we've had one of each. We have had a tier 6, we had a tier 4, and now we have a tier 5. Otse is going through the model, trying to figure out. Tomas Spiel says, how can I participate? I'm from Argentina. So the participation is open to everyone, but you have to qualify for our tournaments, and our next tournament is going to be in January 2026. You can also join us on episodes of Model Monday Live, and you can visit us at tootalltoby.com/tournaments to learn more. Great question. Richard in the chat says, it's so frustrating not to discuss the problem. Yes, I agree. I agree. We're all right there together. The Car Jesus says, right there, this is intense. Yes. And Otse, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, it's funny because people in chat are just wanting so hard to scream it out that I think we need to set up and do a Too Tall Toby.
A challenge where I do things wrong and let the chat say what it was.
No, I think honestly we need a live watch party in your area.
Yes. Oh yeah. I like the sound of this a lot.
I always get it wrong. You're in Philly or you're in Pittsburgh?
That's right. Yeah, Philly.
You're in Philly. All right. So I might be up your way near December time frame.
Okay. Let's make it happen, my friend. 1 minute.
I do bring a projector and everything with me if you want to do a watch party in Philly.
1 minute and 50 seconds, and we see Otse is now truly feeling the pressure, and I think that, the audience has been watching him, and I think that they're very interested in where he's going with this. One step away from a heart attack, says Elena. Okay, this is intense. Bump up the music. We got a request here to bump up the music a little. Watching with my son for the first time. Big shout out to Jack. Big shout out to Jack. I'd say 1 minute and 14 seconds left. See what he does with this thing. He's looking over all his dimensions. He's thinking about it. Of course, the YouTube chat will probably block him. The Fusion YouTube chat will probably block him. And
somebody actually pointed out what you need to do on your website is host the shot clock with the verifying of the answers. So you just go to the website and punch it in.
We actually do that on Model Monday Live. All right,
Yep.
we're waiting for the answer here. I'd say don't take too long if you know. I don't want you to end up not answering here. Okay, and Ate comes in with an answer, 202.6. And Phil, we got ourselves a champion moving into the final two, the Heads Up Championship. That is correct. 202.6 is exactly the correct answer. Wow, wow, wow. In a little over 11 minutes, Ate was able to construct that thing. He realized that he had something wrong. Max looks like he also realized he had something wrong. And Max also got in there with that combined mass. Looks like he was pretty close to that same combined mass. But wow, guys, be sure to put a GG in the chat. Ate, once again, in that spot where he was facing kind of a sudden death situation, had to run up against the clock and figured it out at the last moment. Gosh, I would love to talk to Ate and find out what he was thinking and what it was that made him finally realize the shaft of that screwdriver was square. Both of our runners, interesting, both of our runners looked at the print, and both of our runners ended up seeing that that being not rectangular, not square, not diamond, but being round. It's a very interesting print. It's very hard to see. I realize it now looking at the print. It is indeed very hard to see. But wow, that is tough. We just have that one note there on the print indicating that we got ourselves a square shaft on that thing. But wow, Jern in the chat making a very good point there. Max's consolation prize is a 3D printer. So GG and congratulations to Max. That is amazing. Steven in the chat saying, is Discord a good way to stay connected? Absolutely. Join us on the Too Tall Toby Discord. We got 1,300 people in there. We'd love to see some more people in there. And of course, be sure to hit the like button on this live stream. Phil, how you doing for time? I know that I only had you booked until about 3. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm more than okay. Keep rolling with it. I
Fantastic.
might have to go grab a drink or something.
Yeah, of course.
But we are good to go, man.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we have a second semifinal match, Fusion versus SolidWorks, coming up here. But for now, let's just make sure that we all put a GG in the chat for our winner. GG to Ate. And of course, a GG in the chat for our runner-up, Max. It was awesome having Max in this tournament. It's his very first Too Tall Toby tournament, and I know we're going to see him again. And just awesome work from Max. Congratulations, my friend, and well done. And whoo! And guys, in the chat, this is a fantastic time. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support what we're doing, this is a fantastic time to do some super chat. We got Jim Yu in the super chat. This is usually when we do it at kind of the halfway point between the matches. He says, great matches, choo choo. Thank you, my friend. And so you can like and subscribe. You can share and reshare. Let's see what we got as far as likes go. And then we're going to have another Fusion versus SolidWorks matchup here in our finals. We got 100 likes so far. Let's go. Let's see if we can get 100 more. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. We are on our way to 50,000. Hopefully we hit 50,000 live next week during the live stream. I think that would be perfect during the finals next week. And guys, if you have the financial means, Super Chat is a fantastic way to support the channel as well. And of course, sign up for Practice Models Premium. If you're not familiar with Practice Models Premium, you can head on over to tootalltoby.com. This is where a lot of our runners do their training for this live stream, for this competition. The website is tootalltoby.com. And when you go to the website, tootalltoby.com, what you'll find is that we've got a gamified CAD practice website. It's almost like a gym for your CAD. You think that's a fair way of describing it, Phil?
I think it is 100%.
It's like a gym for those of you out there that want to learn more about 3D CAD and practice and refine your CAD skills. So as we are going through here and taking a look at the Practice Models app, I just want to say thank you to Jern coming in with some super chat. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much to Randy as well. Great to see you in here, my friend. Thank you so much for that super chat. It really does go a long way, and we really appreciate all the support from our community. We could not do all the fun things we do without all of you, so thank you so much. And if you are out there and have the means and are looking for a place where you can practice some of these challenges, you can visit us at tootalltoby.com. When you visit us at tootalltoby.com, you're going to get access to a few of these 2D to 3D challenges for free, and then you can unlock the entire library by upgrading to Practice Models Premium. Jim Yu in the chat says TTT Web is the best playground. Thank you, my friend. The way these challenges work is that you can sort the challenges by difficulty. Like today, we've seen a lot of tier 5 and tier 6 challenges. And then you can say click here to begin. And once you say click here to begin, you can say click here to begin and go. And we can see here that the challenge says, what's the mass of this part in XXXX grams? And you can try to figure out what that mass is and type it in down here, 1420. No, that is incorrect. You got to keep going. The clock is still running. So just like our runners are doing here in the tournament, you can make the same type of practice here on your CAD system. You can do it using any 3D CAD system. You can see here that there's been 472 people who have successfully solved this one, and the average solve time is 19 minutes. So for me personally, I always challenge myself to see if I can beat the average solve time. You'll also see here that we've got a leaderboard of our top 100 finishers, and we have users from all over the world using all different CAD systems. So we've got Fusion users in here. We've got SolidWorks, Onshape, Inventor, CATIA. We've got ZW3D users in here. We've got Compass 3D users in here. We've got users from all over the world using all different CAD systems. It is truly a CAD agnostic website. And the way that you get started on this website is when you first visit the website, there's an option here that says try as a guest. And the cool thing about these challenges is that if you ever get stuck, underneath each of the challenges, we've got our tutorials. So if you ever happen to get stuck on one of these challenges, we've got tutorials in a variety of different CAD systems. Valentina the chat says, no Creo, what? No, we got Creo users in here. You'll notice here that there's what's called the community scoreboard. Every time you finish a challenge, you get added to the community scoreboard. You get a point here on the community scoreboard. And look at this, mvince84. From the United States, 244 out of a possible 248 points. That's pretty impressive. And look at that sweet, sweet Creo logo there. So yeah, we've got users from all over the world using all different CAD systems. And what you can do is you can get in here and you can refine your CAD skills using the Practice Models app. No Shaper 3D users in here? Nope. We definitely got Shaper 3D users in here as well. We got users of all kinds of different CAD systems. So we definitely have users. Look at this. We got even an Iron CAD user in here. So we definitely have users from all over. CATIA users? Yep, we got CATIA users. Sebastian, you might know a couple of them. We got users from all over the world using all different CAD systems. So check it out if you haven't been here before. The website is tootalltoby.com. The app is called the Practice Models app. And on that Practice Models app, you can also, I saw there was somebody in the chat asking, how do I get to the Discord? You know, that's another great way to get to the Discord. You can just go in here to the Practice Models app, and you can see here that at the top of the Practice Models app, there's a link to our resources, including our Discord link. So if you get stuck, you can get in there just right up here in Resources, Discord. There's the link directly to the Discord. And so if you visit us at tootalltoby.com, it's another great way to support the channel, support what we're doing. Visit us at tootalltoby.com, sign up for a free account, and then upgrade to Practice Models Premium. You can access the entire library. You can model parts that can be 3D printed, which is a lot of fun. You can sort the models by difficulty type, by the actual model type that you're trying to create. Like maybe you never do sheet metal and you want to get some sheet metal practice in. Well, this is a great place to go to get that sheet metal practice in. And of course, we've got community tutorials. And for those of our more enthusiastic runners, we've got the speed running leaderboards. And so that's for people who really want to prove how fast they are. Not only can you finish a challenge, but when you're done, you can record yourself and then you can upload it directly to the website. And you bring your own CAD, so you can use whatever CAD system you want. We are truly a CAD agnostic community. Guys, if you haven't been there before, sign up today, tootalltoby.com, and sign up for Practice Models Premium to continue to support the channel. It's $5.80 a month. It's pretty cheap. It's less than like the tax on some of the dinners we had to pay for at the airport on our recent trip. So it is very inexpensive, $5.80 a month. You're going to get a super education from that experience. It's like a gym membership. You get out of it what you put into it, right? The more practice you put in, the more you're gonna learn, the better you're gonna get. All right, guys. Thank you again for staying with us. Still got 185 people here going into the second half of this tournament. So let's get into it here. And in the second half of the tournament, we are going to see a match between the great Neil Z and Ricardo Jean. And we can see here that our winner from the first match was Atse. Who's going to go up against Atse? Phil, who do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. Ricardo is a machine. I know that for a fact. That guy puts in work and gets it done. But I can't not go with my boy Infusion. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think Neil's going to disrupt it.
Okay. Well, Neil has been a surprise throughout this entire tournament, so I think it's awesome. And I think it's great. We're going to see the number 3 and the number 2 seed going up against each other. So, guys, let us know in the chat, who are you rooting for? What CAD system are you rooting for? And we're going to get a quick practice round going here between these two runners. So here we go. This practice battle will begin in just a moment. Let me just get the practice model up here. This practice model between these two runners will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? And this is just a practice. This is just a tech check. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we've got our screen set up. We got Neil Z on the left using Fusion in dark mode. Yo, I like that. We got Ricardo Jean on the right, already done before he even got to the screen. He comes in with a mass of 107 grams. Ricardo Cobra CAD. Apparently that is his nickname. So, wow. Wow, guys, impressive. And Neil Z comes in with an answer, 107 grams. Guys, I think the tech check looks great. I think everything looks great on here. So, good job to our runners. Music just abruptly ended that time, sorry. But we did get that ultra awesome music there from that. And guys, of course, we're going to turn to the Wheel of Fate to make sure that we are able to randomize the drawing for the next. Yep, the screwdriver was still up. Yep, that's correct. I noticed that as well. Thank you, Matab. But guys, I just want to say, just in case anybody's tuning in for the first time, that we do have some great tournament sponsors, and just make sure that you check them out. We did a little bit of a longer recognition of these guys earlier, but just in case you're just tuning in, our tournament sponsors are really important to us. We would not be able to do this tournament without them. So I got to give a huge shout out to Byte Systems. Byte specializes in PDM and ERP integration for SolidWorks, as well as custom macros and API for SolidWorks. And if you're out there and you're interested in learning about this, you can actually sign up for their bundle, and you can use this code to save 30%. So if you happen to see Byte out there on the streets, on the social media streets, be sure to give them a shout out. Let them know, if you see them post something, reply and say, hey, thanks so much for sponsoring the Too Tall Toby tournament. And of course, we also got to give a shout out to our newer sponsor, Xometry. Xometry specializes in manufacturing on demand. They're a great way to get they're a simple, fast way to get custom physical parts created. They do CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication. They use the highest quality materials, and they're available for either single prototype or multi-part runs. And we really appreciate Xometry sponsoring the tournament this time around. We're here in the semifinals, and they've been with us the whole time. If you guys are interested in getting some physical parts made out of any of these materials or more, you can visit Xometry. You can put in your order, and you can actually save 20% off your first order. One of the things Xometry did was they sponsored the Hypershock car in BattleBots. And I'm just going to play a short video here just because I think it really shows how you can go from idea to a manufactured part, even with a complicated system like a BattleBot. So let me just drop in this video real quick here, and we're just going to take a quick listen.
Hi, I'm Will Bales.
And I'm Alex Bales. Together, we engineer crazy fighting robots. Getting custom parts is key to everything we do.
That's why we choose Xometry to get on-demand custom manufacturing for prototyping and production.
They offer dozens of processes like 3D printing, CNC machining, and sheet cutting.
Plus, Xometry's huge network creates massive capacity for production and reliable supply chains.
Get started with Xometry today.
Xometry, where big ideas are built.
So I think that's so cool. I think it's so cool how it shows that you're able to just, come up with your idea, model it up in 3D CAD, whether it's a single part or even a full assembly, and then get those parts manufactured. And you can contact Xometry and let them know that you are a fan of Too Tall Toby by using code Toby20, and that'll get you 20% off your first order. Also,
one real great thing about Xometry, I used to do work for them from the manufacturing side. But
Nice.
Their quoting system will help you a ton when it comes to designing. If you are looking to do something, you throw it on their quote and you're like, wow, that seems steep. Odds are you need a little revision to your design.
Yes, and that's something that I think really does differentiate them, and it'll help you save money, especially if you're new to manufacturing. You know, you could send in your models and ask them to kind of review them, and they might be able to give you some advice to say, hey, if you just move this hole over here, change this fillet, this part will be a lot cheaper to make, and that is very valuable information. So shout out to Xometry. Thank you so much, Xometry, for continuing to sponsor. And our next sponsor is CADOp.io from none other than Sebastian. He's in the chat right now in case you have any questions for him about CADOp.io. But CADOp is a modern cloud-first platform for CAD documentation. It's mobile friendly. It's a 3D viewing directly in a web browser. And that means that all the important stakeholders in your project could see the entire project and see all the important bill of materials, technical specifications, and cost breakdowns. If you want to get a sneak peek at that, you can visit CADOp.io. And if you want to get early access, you can sign up at beta.cadop.io. So be sure to check them out as well. And huge shout out to Sebastian. He's in the chat. And then finally, when it comes to the world of 3D CAD and hardware, we saw some people earlier saying, hey, maybe my computer's going a little too slow. It'd be great for you to check out our sponsor, Solidbox, mysolidbox.com. They offer professional CAD workstations for professional CAD users. You know, the team at Solidbox is outstanding because they not only help you to spec out the right computer for what you're trying to do, but they actually give you a customized build of Windows with all the bloatware removed. They go through and they tweak all the settings in your BIOS to make sure you're taking full advantage of your hardware. And they really just make sure that as soon as you take that computer out of the box, it is ready to go. So if you haven't visited them before and you're in the market for some new computer hardware, be sure to visit mysolidbox.com. All right, guys. And with that, I just want to remind you that if you see them or any of our sponsors in social media, especially our prize sponsor, Prusa, thank you to Prusa for putting up the prizes for this tournament. If you guys are not familiar with Prusa, they make super easy to use, low waste 3D printers, and they're very, very popular. And that means you're going to get a great team of people at Prusa to support you, but also a fantastic community of people if you ever get stuck to help support you. Visit them, prusa3d.com. And if you ever happen to see any of our sponsors on social media, be sure to let them know that you appreciate their sponsorship of the tournament. The tournament is a really fun time, and we couldn't do it without these amazing sponsors. And of course, that brings us back full circle to Plasticity. And Plasticity makes some of the best in advanced and Class A surfacing tools. And when you're done modeling in Plasticity, you can import it directly into your CAD system, your CAD workflow. So guys, let's take a look at the Wheel of Fate. Only 4 drawings left here. Only 4 drawings left to determine who's going to move on to the finals. So very excited to see what the Wheel of Fate has in store. And Peter is jumping right in and saying 34 from Peter. And Sonasung, some new people here guessing, is saying 37. Honor Tercer is 38. Sebastian 37. 3D Hub is going 37 plus or minus 3. Jim Yu 38. D Vicky Chong 33. And Prime 37 from Matab. Serial South 39. Last Steep 37. Jimmy Jibba 39. Rit is coming in with 35. Austin coming in here 38. Big B from AZ 39. Gray 37. The Top Mexican 39. And Oprashant 1209 32. And Sai is here in the chat saying, I want to get good at, I saw him earlier say, I want to get good at 3D CAD. Visit us at TooTallToby.com. You can sign up for practice models. That's how you get good at 3D CAD. How do you get good at 3D CAD? You model up real world parts. That's how you do it. And Leak 39 and Kegel 33. Guys, let's give this thing a spin. We're going to shuffle it a little bit here. Shuffle, and spin. Shout out to Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate. All right, guys. This one is going to be interesting. Here we go. Drawing number 38. We got a good one for these guys. Thank you to the Wheel of Fate. Thank you to Plasticity. And thank you to everybody for predicting what that was going to be. And Phil, maybe you could tell us just a little bit more about these CAD wizards as we're getting this challenge ready.
100%. So you got Neil coming to us as a freshman mechanical engineer out of UW-Madison, which I'm a big Badgers fan, even though I'm originally from Iowa. might get some hate there. But outside of that, started CADing with AutoCAD 9 years ago.
Wow.
So that, I hate to say it, if he's a freshman 9 years ago, that's got to be what, a high school, junior high,
elementary school, maybe
intro class. So outside
Wow.
of that, learned Fusion and SolidWorks. So he's a little bit of a double-edged sword. He might be able to take down Ricardo knowing his tricks.
Wow.
Honestly,
yeah,
that brings up a good point. I wonder how many people are studying film on these guys now. You got to be on top of your game. But getting over to Ricardo, loves his wife. She's all to him. I can feel that. I feel the same about my wife nonetheless. She might not feel the same some days, but outside of that, using SolidWorks since 2006. That's crazy. 18 years, and I just got shell-shocked because I graduated high school in 07. So that's been a while for me as well. Born in Brazil and now lives in Italy. And as I saw it in the chat earlier, he's 51% Brazilian, 49 Italian.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
That's what he claimed. I think it was a little hysterical, but
very interesting. All right. All right, guys. Well, listen, this is going to bring us into this next matchup then. I hope that you guys are both ready. I see in the chat, Big B from AZ says, shout out to all the wives and GFs. Yes. Thank you to the wives out there. We love you. Thank you so much for all the support. And guys, this is it, man. I cannot believe this match is upon us. I've been waiting all week to see this one. Can't wait to see how these guys do. So here we go. Phil, are you ready?
I am, but before we kick this off, I'm going to double down.
Okay.
I'm saying if Neil takes it, I'm throwing 20 gifted in chat.
Wow. Guys, big stakes here. If Neil can win this one, we're going to see 20 new subs going into the pool for all of you to grab. That is so nice. So thank you so much. And here we go, guys. This next CAD vs. CAD battle between Neil Z, our number 3 seed from the United States running Fusion, and Ricardo Jean, our number 2 seed from Italy running SolidWorks. This semi-final CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1. Go! What is the mass of this part in x.xxx pounds? The tolerance on this one is plus or minus 0.002 pounds, and both of our runners have already grabbed a screen capture, and both of our runners are jumping into their CAD systems. We see that we've got Neil Z on the left running Fusion, and Ricardo Jean on the right running SolidWorks, and Ricardo Jean draws first blood, gets that first solid feature in place. Wow. This is a part that we've seen in tournaments in the past, but it hasn't been on the circuit for a while. So we'll see who dug deepest, if anybody actually practiced modeling this part, or if they're going at it fresh. Cobra mode on, says Matab. Wow. Atse says, why wasn't that model for me?
I gotta say, this is possibly the easiest model so far.
It may look that way, but there's definitely some trickiness to this model. There's definitely a lot of features in this model. And Jim Yu in the chat says, the Boba Fett model. Exactly. That's what I think of when I see this as well. This is the Boba Fett spaceship model.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
There's a lot of interesting tangency constraints. It's cool. Both of our runners just created the same line at the same time and added in that same tangency at the same time. That was really interesting. And our chat said, what tier is this? This is tier 5, kind of right on the brink between a tier 5 and a tier 6, but definitely a tier 5 here for this one. And Neil Z and Ricardo Jean both. It's so interesting that they both decided to sketch it that way. You know, looking down on it from the top, kind of long ways horizontal, the same tab sticking up. Both of them modeling only part of it to do symmetry, and choosing to model the same tab. That's so fascinating how similar our minds are as engineers, even though we're from different parts of the world, even though we're using different CAD systems, making very similar decisions here on seemingly arbitrary decisions, like do you sketch it on the left or sketch it on the right? It's like they both.
It makes me almost think to myself, is that something that's taught in school as engineers for these two? Or is that a SolidWorks thing? Because Neil does have some SolidWorks kind of background.
I cannot answer that, but very, very interesting.
I think they learned it from watching your channel there, Toby. It's your bad habits coming through.
It definitely could be, my friend. But wow, they are really both moving through this thing quickly. And Ricardo Jean here taking a look at this model and really moving through it quickly, looks like he's choosing a whole wizard size there. It's a little bit of a tricky part because it's in inches. Our runners are mainly used to working in millimeters, and so it's, maybe it's a little bit more difficult, a little awkward for them to be working in inches, but it looks like they're both handling it pretty well.
It definitely is a good time when you go.
Go ahead.
You still got me there?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yep.
YouTube just decided to go blank on me, but I'm back.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay.
So, I mean, it is definitely interesting when I think about it, being somebody that's used inch my whole career, but you could get out to 3 or 4 decimal places, making it a 5-digit number. And in a speed modeling competition, that could hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, so long as the geometry is analytic, most CAD systems are pretty dead on. It does get a little bit dicey as you get out to 3, 4, 5 decimal places. So I usually kind of throttle it at 3, but it is.
Oh, I'm just talking about the idea of like 3/16 of an inch is still 4 after
4.
the decimal.
Exactly.
Type it, right?
Yep. That's 0.1875.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very.
It's always
interesting
interesting
here.
to see these guys and the way they go about it. For sure, is they're basically doing the exact same thing.
It's so interesting. They're in like synchronization here, working on the same feature, although they did make some different features along the way. I think Ricardo may be just slightly ahead right now, but they definitely, have come to basically the same point at the same time, and I think it's so fascinating.
For sure. The only difference between the two is I think Ricardo was in more of that symmetry type of workflow versus what is going to be mirrored along the way.
And so we see Ricardo Jean has come in with an answer here, and his answer is 0.204 pounds, and that is not correct. That is not correct. And Neil Z coming in with an answer 1.495 pounds or 1.496 pounds, and that is not correct. So now both of our runners coming in with an answer in under 5 minutes on this tier 5 model. Very, very impressive. But both of our runners coming in with the incorrect answer. So now both of our runners are going to need to go through and look at their models. They're going to need to look at the print. They're going to need to figure out what exactly is going on, what maybe they could be missing, what dimensions are wrong, or what features are missing, and they're going to need to figure it out. And remember, in the chat, we are not going to tell them. If you happen to notice what it is, we are not going to tell them. We're going to let them figure it out. And KRBX is here in the chat, says hi. And Henninghofer says very far apart. Yes. Interesting.
So I do see somebody, Ziobi, I'm not even going to pronounce it, asking about machinist in the U.S. working off inches. Yes, so we'll measure in anything but the metric unit down here in the U.S.
Yeah. And Neil Z.
Commonly, I do things in bald eagles, freedoms.
And Neil Z coming in with an answer. And it looks like his answer is 1.535. And I'm sorry, Neil Z, that is not correct within tolerance. That is not correct within tolerance. 1.535. That is not correct within tolerance. And so now what we're going to see is we're going to see that this is going to potentially be up to Ricardo Jean to win or lose. Neil Z still looking around in there for it, but I'm trying to find the clock of doom here, guys. Sorry, there we go. And so now what we see is that Neil Z is no longer going to be able to answer. And so what we're going to see here is that Ricardo Jean now has the opportunity to answer. And let's see, Ricardo Jean did not come in with an answer, right?
Not that I've seen yet. So he did have one answer.
He had one answer.
204, but I have not seen another answer yet.
Yep. Okay. Okay, guys. We are watching the chat here for Ricardo Jean to come in with his answer. He's got 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. And this is for the World Championship. And so I think that Ricardo Jean maybe just taking a moment here to double check. He does. It's almost like some of the pressure has been alleviated, especially considering how fast these guys are. They were able to get the entire model done in under 4 minutes. So Ricardo Jean is now going to be, he's trying to hunt down that dimension or hunt down whatever it is that he did wrong. So he's trying to figure it out. And
So you do have somebody, Toby, in the chat wondering if you could throw the drawing back up real quick.
Sure. Yeah, we can maybe put the drawing up here for a second. We want to make sure we keep an eye on the chat as well. But the drawing was shown at the beginning of the match. So that question from Hydra or Harida, that question, the answer to that question is you can always roll back in the live stream and take a look at the drawing. We did show it full screen at the beginning of the match. But in the meantime, yep, we can bring this up so that maybe the runners can see. Hate to cover up poor Neil Z. I saw him zoom in at the end there and maybe see something that he was missing. Yeah, I don't know if this is helping or not. There's so many dimensions.
It's always interesting because I don't know. Is it like you get a second wind when the clock of doom pops up, and then you turn around and realize that it's counting down and re-stress in the situation?
Maybe, yeah. But Tab says this part is a shark. Yeah. And Harida, if you're ever interested in more of these challenges, you could always visit us at tootalltoby.com. We've got an entire library of 2D to 3D CAD challenges with a clock to help you feel the same pressure these guys all feel. Okay, let's check in on Neil Z and see what he's doing here. He's looking at the part.
I think he ended up finding out where he was wrong, but for sure he's got to stay quiet in the meantime.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give it away, right? Inch is the most worst think on Earth. Yes. Matav says feature by feature. Yeah, one of the things, well, actually, I'm going to wait until the end. I'll mention something at the end here. Make a note here. All right, guys, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Ricardo Jean is going to have to make a decision here. It's do or die, and he's going to decide what he wants to do with this answer.
I think he's coming with it.
And Ricardo Jean comes in with an answer. 1.555 pounds. And that is correct. And that is correct. Congratulations to Ricardo Jean. And I'm just curious, Neil, did you also come up with that 1.555? Were you able to get that correct as well? Let us know if you can see it in the if you can show it in the thing. 1.5, so 1.535. Interesting. We're gonna have to go through and look at that and see if we can't figure out what was missing there on Neil's. Maybe Rambro's workshop can confirm if we got the 1.555. I always like having those fusion guys out there to confirm for me. But congratulations to Ricardo Jean. He really modeled through that thing fast. It didn't look like there was anything wrong except for the material. And it was Ricardo Jean himself who mentioned that in the chat.
Looks like Crycore is calling out that Neil was missing tabs.
Missing some tabs. Oh, man. That'll do it. Yeah, it looked like maybe in that area on the left and right, where the hole, 3D Hub 1 says the holes are supposed to connect. Yeah, those two holes that are on like the top and the bottom, or the symmetric holes, they have like little tombstone shaped tabs that are supposed to connect. And I think I saw them missing on Neil's as well. So that's all right, man. It's a complicated model, and you already won a printer. So congratulations to Neil, who already won a printer. But now we can move on to the next match, and we're gonna find out who is going to move on in this thing. And guys, I did end up removing one of the models from the Wheel of Fate just because I think that'll make for a better tiebreaker if it all washes out here. So I wanted to remove that one. It's one that was kind of recycled from the old days, and just to make sure that nobody has an advantage, we have two new ones here on the wheel. I figured that'll also help kind of balance things out if we just keep the two new ones here on the wheel. So the wheel is down to just two choices now, two brand new models that nobody's ever seen before, and that the reason we did that was just to try to make things a little bit more fair. And then, if it does come down to a tiebreaker, then we still have that extra one. So, guys, what do we think it's going to be? Shout out to Plasticity, our sponsor of the Wheel of Fate. And Plasticity features advanced and Class A surfacing, easy interoperability. You can easily go from Plasticity out to your CAD software. And one of the things that's not listed here on the bullet points for Plasticity is just the direct editing. You see some of it here in this preview, the ability to just grab something and kind of push-pull. They've really kind of pushed the limits of what's going on under the hood in their kernel, and have really made it easy for you to import a model with no history tree and then just like push-pull surfaces around for direct editing. So it's another real fantastic benefit of Plasticity. If you haven't checked them out yet, plasticity.xyz. And guys, and White Beardo in the chat says, manipulated the Wheel of Fate. Is it even Fate anymore? I think it's still Fate. Yeah, I think it is. But it is a good question. I definitely hesitate before I mess with the Wheel of Fate. I just figured because we've already seen a couple that have been recycled from the old days, this will maybe help make sure that nobody's seen these before. All right, guys, here we go. What's the prize for the winner? The prize for the winner is a 3D printer from our sponsor, Prusa. Shout out to Prusa. Tab says controversy. Yeah, maybe it'll be an asterisk win. We'll see. All right, guys, here we go. The Wheel of Fate is going to speak to us. We're going to shuffle it a little bit. And this next challenge is going to be ooh. Okay. Next challenge is going to be challenge number 37. This is a good one. Brand new challenge for our runners. They're all brand new. They're all remixed a little bit, but, you know, truly brand new. Here we go. Phil, maybe you can tell us just a little bit more about these runners. We got some more fun facts about them as the production team is getting this next challenge ready.
Yeah, no problem. So you got Neil out there, loves mountain biking and designing, building, and flying RC airplanes. A little strange being in Wisconsin. It tends to get a wee bit cold in that part of the area. Now, jumping back over to Ricardo, YouTube SolidWorks teacher at a beginner level. He's got 280 followers. Hopefully he'll throw that link to his YouTube channel in chat. Under pressure, design fast like a leopard. Pay attention. He's dangerous.
Wow. So, yo, I like that. That's a nice hype there.
Right? 100%.
Yeah, very cool.
Again, I'm shocked at the skill set here for sure.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. And good luck. And wow, so Ricardo Jean comes from a family of CAD wizards. So he's been learning for a long time. It's awesome. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Yeah, Jim Yu, exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Yep. We got old timers and newcomers. So let's keep it fresh, baby. All right, guys, SW Go. Gray is rooting for the SolidWorks user. Guys, this is it. Neil Z, shake it off a little bit. This next one is going to be epic. We've got Ricardo Jean. He's got 1 point so far. If he can win this next battle, he's going to move on to the championship against our good friend Atse. We've got Neil Z. If he can win this next point, we all win because we all get to see a third match. Here we go. This next CAD versus CAD battle featuring Neil Z from the United States running Fusion, our number 3 seed, going up against Ricardo Jean from Italy running SolidWorks, our number 2 seed. Our number 3 seed versus our number 2 seed in the semifinals. This CAD versus CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in 0.xxx pounds? We got another pounds model for you guys. 0.xxx pounds. Both of our runners are looking at this challenge. Both of our runners are grabbing a screen capture, and both of our runners are taking a moment to decide how they're going to model this thing up. So, wow. This is a cool model.
I gotta ask there, Toby, is there a video of you designing these and getting them to the point of drawing that's posted somewhere?
We definitely could do that.
It would be interesting to see your thought process where midway through you go, nope, that's going to be too easy. Let's make this a little more challenging.
Yeah, there's a lot of that for sure. So this is a very interesting model. This model is called Rocker Lid, and we got Neil Z on the left. Looks like he's modeling up a shape to maybe revolve, and we got Ricardo Jean on the right. He's already drawn first blood, and he's already gotten a fillet in there on the bottom of that part. So he's got 2 features already in this thing. Looks like he's deciding to go after this thing using extrudes. Interesting. Neil Z taking the more traditional approach, doing this thing as a revolve. Neither of our runners have ever seen this model before, so they both have to come up with a game plan and then start modeling. And that's part of the skill that we're really showing off in this tournament. You know, can you look at something for the first time and think about things like order of feature creation and the types of, like, kind of imagine the feature tree in your head before you even start with your first sketch. And these guys are truly masters at that craft.
100%. I'm excited to see how this all plays out, because in some ways I'm already in my brain thinking, oh, that would work good for this, but that's not going to work good for that, right?
Yes, exactly. And Matab in the chat throwing out a little compliment there, likes the way that feature was created. So very nicely done there, Ricardo. Getting a shout out from Matab. This is the Tier 5 challenge. Tier 5 challenge, the top Mexican in the chat asking. And it looks like Ricardo is now going in and hollowing that thing out. So that's interesting. So we had some different approaches here modeling through this part. But now we run into another feature that is not often seen in these tournaments. And that feature is this a feature that gets called out as spherical. And so our runners need to examine that feature and try to come up with a plan on how they're going to create something that is spherical. So this will be really interesting to watch Ricardo Jean trying to go through and create that. And Neil Z on the left has already got that circular ball sticking up out the middle. So although they took different paths, it's very difficult to tell who's truly ahead at this point.
100%. That dimple might get them. That's for sure.
Yes, that little dimple sticking out, that kind of spherical shape. It's going to be interesting to see how both of them. You can see even Ricardo Jean, the master, is getting a little bit hung up on that feature.
Well, I think I know what he's going for here. And yeah, it's one of those things that can frustrate you mentally when you're trying to make a sphere and you realize it needs something to go around, right?
Yes, you've said it perfectly there, Phil. That is exactly the challenge that people run into. So creating a sphere, a very good skill to learn. You know, you never know when you're going to need it. Oh, but Ricardo Jean looks like, oh, did you see that? He revolved it. He had that extra junk in the middle. He used that delete dingus feature in SolidWorks and got rid of it. Wow. That is really impressive. Big B from AZ says, boom, delete face. And I know that Neil Z is also a user of delete face, a fellow delete face master. And so Neil Z, should he come upon a similar challenge, I'm sure he'll know exactly how to handle it. But Ricardo Jean now moving through that feature. You could tell that was a feature that kind of left him struggling for a moment. He really slowed down. Now you can see that he's just cruising again. He's back into kind of comfort zone. And looks like he's going to be,
it's one of those things, like always, is, you know, I've seen somebody say it in chat, you know, it was much easier to design the second time. That's for sure. Right?
Yes, exactly. And wow, it's so impressive to see these guys having never seen these parts before, having to look at it, because that is true. You know, sometimes that's the secret. But having never seen these parts before and just blasting through them and modeling them up so quickly, and
it's crazy when we get to this level of competition that it's not necessarily a speed thing as much as most people think. Like, although there is times right now that models are getting done quick and they're right, it's more important for accuracy to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Ricardo,
we've seen the the death clock come up a couple of times.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's not just about being fast. It's got to be accurate as well. And sometimes that means knowing how to make certain features. So, all right. So now we're watching the chat. And Ricardo Jean comes in with his answer in just 5 minutes and 20 some seconds. 0.470 pounds. And that is correct. And congratulations to Ricardo Jean, moving on in the tournament and becoming our second finalist in this year's CAD vs. CAD World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling. Guys, throw some GGs into the chat. That was super impressive. super fast modeling, and definitely in that one an order of operations thing. We saw there that Neil Z maybe would have gotten a little, or did get a little bit hung up there on the creation of that thin wall, having started out with that revolve, where Ricardo Jean kind of spotted that thin wall went around that tombstone shape, and so he just kind of incorporated that into his original solid. That is a very astute observation and super impressive, especially considering these guys have never seen this thing before. It's a tricky model, a tricky tier 5 model there. And wow, congratulations and well done. And I'm just gonna go back to the shared screen again here. You'll notice that Ricardo Jean actually has made his own cat model there. He's made his own cat model, flipping back and forth, and really cool there. And so, good job to all of our runners today. It was really fun watching everybody today. A real pleasure having everybody in here. And GG, of course, to both of our runners. And a huge congratulations to our finalists, Atse and Ricardo Jean. We're going to see them facing off in the finals here in the championship next week. But of course, we are also going to see our 3rd and 4th place runners going against each other. They're going to do one battle against each other next week to determine who is in 3rd and who is in 4th. But wow, guys, awesome matches from everybody today. You guys are really fast. Congratulations to Neil Z. Congratulations to Ricardo Jean. Really awesome modeling from everyone. And congratulations to Atse. Congratulations to Max as well. And once again, thank you so much to our tournament sponsors. We couldn't even have done this without our tournament sponsors. And guys, yeah, I see in the chat that Jern is making a notice here. Our finals in the Spring Open featured Ricardo and Atse. So this is actually going to be a rematch from the Spring Open. And one of those videos got over 400,000 views. So these guys are truly a draw here. And wow, that was amazing modeling from everybody today, and a lot of fun to watch. Thank you again so much to all of our sponsors. Guys, if you happen to see these sponsors, be sure to give them a shout out. Xometry.com, BlueByte.biz, MySolidbox.com, CADOp.io, Prusa.3D.com, and Plasticity.xyz. Thank you so much to Jim Yu for the 100 knock in the chat. If you guys have any desire, the ability, the super chat is still open just for a few more minutes. Otherwise, be sure to at least hit the like button before you leave. And I gotta say thank you to you, Phil. Remind everybody again about your YouTube channel and when you are streaming and what you are streaming.
Yeah, no problem. So mainly our content does focus around the side of Autodesk Fusion's manufacturing workspace, but I went ahead and threw that back up in chat for everybody. And we always like to say it's not what you know, it's who you know when it comes down to your Fusion decisions. And if anybody out there is seeing this and needs help, feel free, jump on our YouTube channel. There's links to our support channel, tons of stuff, including our website, to be able to get the help that you need, the answers you want.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for everything you do for the community. I know you put out a lot of great free information, as well as your professional training courses and your professional services. But your channel is such a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate it. And if anybody out there is a Fusion user, be sure to bookmark Phil's channel. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. You're gonna get so much good information, and it's constantly evolving. It's week after week, brand new content. So be sure to check him out. And thank you again, Phil, so much for being such a great co-commentator too. This is so awesome seeing you again in the booth. Like you said, I think next time we got to get together in person.
I'm honestly, I'm thinking one of these days we're going to get together in person. It's going to be a good time.
That's what they
maybe we'll have a Too Tall Toby yearly event, right?
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Well, guys, thank you again so much. Thank you to the chat. If I didn't answer any of your questions, feel free to type them in the chat now. I will try to answer them in text as we are hitting the exit room here. But guys, thank you so much for being a part of the chat and being the most amazing chat ever. And guys, I can't wait. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention it earlier, on TooTallToby.com, we do add the models from the tournament to the library. It's a promotion we've been doing all month. So if you become a member at TooTallToby.com and you sign up for Practice Models Premium, you can access all these fun tournament models that we've been going through. So you guys can check that out as well. And thank you so much to the chat. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to sign up for an account at TooTallToby.com. Use the super chat, visit TooTallToby.com, sign up for practice models. And guys, our next live stream is next week, Friday at 1 p.m. But if you can't wait until next Friday, if you want to get together with the chat pros and you want to compete and see how good you are at 3D CAD, you can actually join us on Model Monday Live. We do Model Monday Live most Mondays at 1 p.m. and it's on this channel here, tutaltoby.com, and this is where you can compete against the other chat pros and see how fast you are at 3D CAD. So it's very similar to what we did here today, but instead of it being the runners in the tournament, it's going to be all of us in the chat competing against each other. So join us for Model Monday Live, 1 p.m. this Monday. And Phil, any final thoughts for the audience before we go?
None whatsoever, but I'm looking forward to being back here for the finals. I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out, and I will look forward to seeing everybody in the next live stream. Guys, it's been awesome. It's been such a fun way to end the week. I know we went a little long today, but I'm so thankful to all of you for sticking with me. It's been a great way to end the week. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Make sure you get outside before it gets too cold. Enjoy that fresh weather, and I will see you guys in the next Too Tall Toby CAD vs. CAD tournament. See you, everybody.